take on.
We know how a bank should be at Partners Bank. Banking should be easier, treating our customers as valued and important. Services should be better with online and mobile banking and locations close to where you live and work. Loans should be quicker, and we make all decisions locally with years of experience helping people with their financing needs. Partners Bank, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Zaleski Sports Show. We are here at Nuts Deep Bar and Grill in Marshfield, 801 South Central Avenue, right here in beautiful downtown Marshfield. We are here watching state football championships today. Division 7 just wrapped up. I'm joined, as I was during the first game, by Rich Hall, our resident officiating expert. We didn't have any challenge flags in the first game, so we were able just to talk about business. And Nick, you going to come in now or what, huh? Come on, okay. So we'll say hi real quick here to Nick Arnoldi, Marshfield Insurance.
Hi, Nick.
And Nick's going to do a good job by sending Rep back down to talk to us here at 5:15 today. And now we've got it on camera.
We'll do our best. We'll see who we can send. Was I out of the frame? You're out of the frame. I'm out of frame. You don't want me in frame.
Nick is going to make a special appearance in tonight's holiday parade. So we look forward to seeing.
Don't tell the kids.
We look forward to seing Nick during the parade.
Yeah.
Fair
Thanks,
enough,
guys.
right? Huh?
You know more about football than I do, anyway.
Well,
so.
okay. I'll take your word for it. All right. So Division 7 was our first game. That started at 10. And we had a good time watching that. Bangor and Blackhawk. Bangor did win. They had, a contested game in the first half, and they were able to just kind of outpower and outlast the guys from Blackhawk in the second half.
Yep. Division 6 here just kicked off. Fondy Springs is pretty much a heavy favorite.
Boy, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say. We mentioned it a bit ago, but the Division 5 championship, Amherst takes on Lake Country Lutheran, the Lightning from Lake Country.
Yes.
Amherst has one loss on the year. They pretty much destroyed people in the bracket, in the tournament.
Yes.
They got one loss on the year, and that's to this Division 6 St. Mary's team here.
So that's two big programs there, but Fondy Springs here, of course, their coach is the all-time winningest coach in WA history.
That's right. That's right. So so we've had one gold ball issued today. We'll have 3 more. So this year Division 6 that's just started at 1 o'clock. We'll have Division 5 that kicks off at 4, and then Division 4 kicks off at 7. And the Division 4, St. Croix Central and Lodi. Those 2 squads will tangle for the Division 4 championship, and that's prime time at 7 o'clock under the lights. And we'll talk about that real quick, Rich, and then we'll bring our first guest to this session in. Those 2 teams get to play under the lights at their very familiar 7 p.m. time slot. What difference do you think it is to these guys that play at 10 a.m. or 1 p.m.?
I don't know if it's a big difference once the opening kickoff happens. Tonight's game, actually, the St. Croix Falls comes from, for the last 4 years in a row, that conference has produced the state champion. It's Somerset and Osceola and teams from that area. So
that's right.
I guess, 10 in the morning is a way different deal than 7 p.m.
Yeah.
But being said, I do believe that once the ball's kicked off, it's game.
Then it's game time, no matter what time of day it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so schedules maybe are a little uprooted, maybe they're a little out of sorts walking into the stadium, but once maybe even warm-up start.
Once warm-up starts.
Then they're all set to go.
I believe that. Yep.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, I think I do too. It's something though, and I'm sure the coaches prepare them for what that's going to be like. It'd be nice if they could practice at 10 in the morning, but turns out they've got school going on all week.
Yeah.
So no time to practice at 10 a.m. to get used to that. But
right.
It looked like Bangor and Blackhawk had no issues with the time.
No.
They were playing real football out there.
Yeah, and it was actually the first half was a very competitive game.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, we'll give. What do you say? Give Scott 5 minutes to eat? You all right with that? Hang on 5 more minutes here?
Enough, yeah.
All right. All right, good. Well, we'll let him, he's got quite a meal over there, too. Mixed fruit, Scott, mixed fruit in the bowl? Yeah, mixed fruit and a wrap. You can get that here at Nuts Deep, which was the Small Business of the Year in 2017. So,
well-deserved honor.
Well-deserved honor. They've done a lot of nice things around here in the last few years. including the expansion. They've got the banquet facility now downstairs. The interior is nice, totally redesigned in that time, and the food is beyond belief. Spectacular food.
The place is full for lunch here today, which is not surprising.
No, not surprising at all. I had myself a chicken, I don't know, kind of a chicken spicy or chicken kind of wrap, and boy, that was darn good. I think you had yourself a burger before.
I had a wrap as well.
Oh, you had a wrap, okay. All right, good. Well, yeah, a lot of good choices here. I know they got a full menu, salads. I mentioned the fruit cup. But sometimes it is just time to hunker down and hunch over a burger, though, too.
Especially watching football.
Yeah. Plenty of burgers here to choose from, fries, all the sides you can want, some of the best cheese curds in all the area, fried cheese curd, deep fried cheese curds here. So come on down to Nuts Deep, 801 South Central Avenue in Marshfield, and watch some football with us, grab a bite to eat, and then hang out for the holiday parade that kicks off at 6:30, if I'm not mistaken. Which it's always a fun event. And unique about Nuts Deep is you can sit right inside here and have a look out the window at the parade. You don't have to leave your food, or you don't have to leave your ice water to go outside. And
well, I'm not sure if the dads all have ice
whatever
water.
you might be drinking, you can have that right within a couple inches of you and still see the parade. Still see the parade. Kids can go outside and collect their candy, do all the things. Santa Claus will be there tonight, and I know that's what they're looking forward to.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 3 and outs here to start the game, so the nerves are maybe playing a little factor here.
Yeah, it could be. You mentioned St. Mary Springs. They do score points, so we're not quite halfway through this first quarter here, and all zeros on the scoreboard in Division 6.
Yeah, Iola's moving the ball, second possession here. They're at midfield already, so.
Yeah, so we've got the Iola Scandinavia
Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds. Jeez, I wanted to say Falcons, but I knew that wasn't it. Thunderbirds and the St. Mary Springs Spartans. That sound
they are
right?
the Ledgers.
The Ledgers. Well, that's close to a Spartan.
Close.
Of some sort, anyway. So, nice run there. Boy, I'll tell you this. I think both teams' jerseys look pretty sharp. The white top and black, that'll look a lot like Amherst here later on. But that Iola Scandinavia gang there, man, black jerseys, orange helmets, that looks pretty sharp to me.
Sharp looking program. Actually, same conference as Amherst, only different divisions.
That's right. Yes.
It's interesting to have same conference, have two.
Different division and a stone's throw from each other.
Right.
Yeah, stone's throw. I bet most kids know each other from those schools. I know when I was growing up, right here in Marshfield, I went to Marshfield Senior High. Of course, I knew all the kids from Columbus. They're right in town here. But I knew the kids from Stratford and from Granton and some of the other places, Pittsville even for that matter.
Today the AAU sports and the traveling teams for not so much football, but for hoops.
Didn't even think of the traveling teams. How you know
the
the other
baseball
kids.
leagues, that get around the area. Back in the day, each city had their own. Well, now, such travel teams with the AAU is, the kids aren't quite as competitive with co-ops and other sports, especially at smaller schools. You'll have wrestling programs that co-op together to make a team, play football against each other in the fall, and then co-op together in the winter.
Forgot all about the traveling team, so they for sure know each other then, I would say. Many of them do. Matter of fact, as I was at Amherst 2 weeks ago, they beat Stratford 52-15 that particular day, got the best of them. After the game, there were two kids headed back to a car, and it was the Amherst quarterback and the Stratford running back. They were hopping into a mom's car and they were going somewhere for the weekend together. Together.
Interesting.
Yeah, right after the game.
That's cool.
So I don't know if they were relation or if one of them maybe lived near. I don't know what the history was, but.
Well, Amherst has been Stratford's stopper for the last, I believe, 3 seasons, 3 of the last 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Level 2 has stopped, Amherst has stopped Stratford all 3 of those 4 years.
And Spencer Columbus.
And Spencer Columbus. Spencer Columbus at state 1 year, and this year I believe it was level 2.
Level 2.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Everybody won their first game. Stratford, Amherst, Spencer Columbus all won the first game. Really, all won them easily. Stratford went up to Bondwell, and folks in Bondwell thought they had a real. They were going to win. They really felt that way, and at that particular time, Stratford's defense was just on fire. You could not advance the ball against Stratford. It was they were just playing lights out, and so that's why that 52-15 in Amherst surprised me, just because of how the Stratford defense had played up through that point. And but on the other hand, Amherst, that's their offense, though.
Yeah, and actually Stratford played a pretty tough schedule. You know, they had played Anago, which is a great Northern Conference, and they also played Stanley Boyd, which is a perennial state participant. So that's quite a schedule for a high school team.
Yeah, I would say for sure. But like I say, Amherst on offense, they're no slouch either. Gladowski will run or throw. He's a really prolific runner, though. And then Bryce Holderman at running back for Amherst, he can get up and down the field too. So he had 3 touchdowns last week in their game against Grantsburg. Holder did. Gladowski had 1, so they did a nice job there. Holder was hurt. He came. It was actually the 5th touchdown that was scored, which was 4 of 5. He was headed in the end zone and took on a Grantsburg defender head on, and took both those guys a number of minutes to get off the field, as you can imagine, doing a full-on speed head-on collision. Ball came loose at the 2 and rolled into the end zone, and Amherst player covered it up in the end zone for that 4 or 5 touchdown that they had. So
how about Iola here? First and goal in the red zone.
We're going to have just under 5 minutes. Well, whistles must be a timeout here. Maybe upcoming. We'll let the officials sort it out. Indicator is flag, but I'm not sure what a flag could have been that early in the process, but we'll find out. No, there was no flag. That was too early for a flag.
Can't snap the ball until the white hat says it's ready to go with a whistle.
Well, Iowa Scandinavia is excited to get in the end zone. They're ready to go.
They should be.
Yeah. Today's white hat from Onalaska. We find that out here. So just like the teams come from all over the state, so do the officials. So,
Stonewall on first down.
Yeah, Stonewall on first down. They got 3.5 yards to go, 3 yards to go. Short distance, you get 22 players, all within about 4 yards of each other. So it takes a lot to score. It takes a lot to score in these kind of tight quarters here. And he was unblocked.
He was unblocked. But that'll put a red flag on everything.
Yeah, you don't block the nose tackle. He's probably going to stuff the run most times. That's what we saw happen there.
Coach will not like that on film.
Center was too eager to get to the linebacker, and he ran right past his first assignment. Like I said, they're in a hurry to get in the end zone here.
Inches.
All right. Yeah.
This would be a huge lift to the Iola morale. You know, it just if you can dodge the first couple punches and stay in the game, you know, that's all you need.
That is all you need. You know, momentum is a real thing, and it's especially real in football.
Absolutely.
You get things cooking right away on the football game, and you can be tough to stop. Tough to stop the Uncle Mo, as they call it. Well, we'll see here. Yeah, looks like we're going to have our first points on the board in Division 6.
He's not in his Zaleski house, but he's in the house.
He's in the house. He's in the Badger house.
He's in the Badger house.
Yeah, and I still think this is one of the cool things here. After every offensive play, where there's positive yardage, the crowd screams. You know, these fans, they come from miles around, and they're going to let it all loose too today. The fans will, and these fans are excited. They're loud. The hundreds of them are loud. Let's see here. We saw a lot of 2-point conversion attempts and conversions made in the Division 7 final by both teams. But here, though, we have another 2-point conversion on the fake PAT. Not sure why you wouldn't just line up for 2.
Yeah, I agree. If you line up and just run your best play, get your 2 points. I don't know if I like that call there, but hey, they are in for 6.
Yeah, there you go. So 6-0. We're under 4 minutes left in the first quarter, and we're fully underway in that way. So I guess tell us, Rich, we'll go back to an officiating topic. We'll go back to that. Anything you can tell us about how these championship crews are selected? What criteria? Who's choosing? All that kind of thing?
There's the director of the WA, Wade Lebecki, is in charge of the officials for assigning officials for state games. The crews that get assigned here are you get a ranking from coaches during the season, and then as a rule, it's all performance based. So if the crews that are here today, they've earned it.
They have. Yeah.
It's usually a 20-25 year process, for you to build up enough time to not qualify, but to get the experience they feel that is needed to get here, and it's a huge honor to be assigned a Madison game.
Yeah, my dad was a baseball umpire in Wisconsin when I was growing up, and I still remember as a kid, I don't know how old I might have been, 9, 10, 11, something like that, and he was selected to umpire at the state
Nice.
Baseball tournament, and he was beside himself, couldn't believe it, but he earned it.
Absolutely.
All the all the balls off his chest, all the coaches in his face, all the everything that goes with baseball. And for as physical a sport and as for aggressive a sport as football is, in baseball, the coaches really get after the umpires. Really get after them.
There's a lot more on balls and strikes. It's like basketball with block and charge. Football is, as a rule, the game, governs itself. Outside of the obvious stuff. But the crews that are here, it's like I said, it's an honor, and it's a reward for. It's not only a reward for the last maybe season. It's a reward for multiple seasons of high level work. So they're just not randomly picked.
Yeah. Now, will this crew be selected as a crew, or are they selected as individuals?
Yep. In WIA, you are selected as a crew.
Okay.
There are other states, a lot of states, where they're assigned by associations, and then they are an all-star crew. Kind of like the NFL. When you get to the NFL, when you get to the playoffs and Super Bowl, all those crews are assigned based on their scores of the whole season. In the NFL, a good example is there is a score guy, a guy that keeps score of every position on every game. So if you're an umpire or a match judge, you have somebody scoring you every game. So when you see a Super Bowl game in the NFL, that is the best that season of the best.
Yeah, and I know that happens. I'll give a short story here, and then we'll see if Scott's ready to join us. In WIAC football this year, the first couple of games, I film right from the field, and a really cool look is when a team is maybe inside the 10, is the camera angle in the back of the end zone where you're seeing that offense come right at you, right at the camp, right on the TV screen, right? They come right through your living room with the ball. And I thought it'd be extra cool if after the play is blown dead, right, the signal's been made, whistles are blown, if I can just step from my media dotted line in the back, just right to the edge of the end zone. Just step right there, get that extra, get the players high-fiving and, headbutting and all that kind of thing that was going on. So I went and talked to the White Hat. That was the second game I did this year. Told him what my plans were, and the back judge was there, so he'd be the one that I would most likely encounter in that situation. Ran the idea past them and said, sure, it sounds like a lot of fun for you. Go ahead, do that. You're at your own risk, though. If you get run over, don't come crying to us. Okay. So second game, same conversation I had. Whoa, boy.
It's a long score.
It's a long score. And the ball was tumbling, and there's a flag. There's a lot to dissect here.
They'll be holding on the defense, actually.
Okay.
Saw it in the middle of the play. So
Okay.
It's going to be a touchdown, I'm sure.
A lot going on. 39 says decline it.
Yeah, there was a player tackled right in the middle of the field on a lesser pattern. So
Okay.
not to watch the game as an official, but it was an obvious one.
We'll give a moment. I'll finish up my story here, and then we'll have you switch out with Scott. Just wait for our today's White Hat to clear things up. Well, I'll tell you, ball came out in a hurry after he hit the ground, but side judge was right there in the corner with him, so I'm sure he saw it way better than I did.
Yeah, unlike the NFL, he does not have to keep the ball through the process.
Yeah.
If the foot comes down, he has control. It's a touchdown. Or if his knee comes down,
The play is dead right then and there.
The play's over. So, right there when he gets to the goal line, that's touchdown.
Okay,
And
yep.
when the ball hits the goal line at any level, it's
Yeah.
plays over, it's touchdown.
Yeah, definitely. So So we got a tie game for now, under 2 minutes to go here. There would be no fake PAT, no 2-point conversion, instead just a traditional old-fashioned extra point. So 7-6 St. Mary's Springs over Iola Scandinavia, just under 2 minutes left. So second game, same thing, yep, fine. I'm getting great footage, right? I mean, third game, same thing. This time, I mentioned UW Stevens Point before, out of this world receiver for the Pointers, Jerry Williams, in his exuberance, throws the ball, and it hits me right in the chest as I'm standing. Probably
Did you
now
get footage of that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's if you watch the highlights, UW Stevens Point in their third week, you'll see Jerry Williams in the end zone. He throws the ball right to me. It's a great look, right? I mean, that's every cameraman's dream, probably. We go to the next game. I don't remember where it was. And I started to come on the field for the coin toss. That's when I would talk to the crew, tell them my intentions of the day. Another fellow was out there with a clipboard, and he had a WEAC embroidered jacket on, right? He just got his clipboard, and he looked pretty official to me, right? I hadn't seen this kind of guy before. They were out there. They were waiting for me.
Nice.
They had said, I was in lacrosse. That's where it was. They said, hey, we love your highlights. We're having a lot of fun watching. I thought that was pretty honoring, too, to have these officials, and this turned out to be their supervisor, telling me they like watching the highlights, but can't have the end zone anymore. So that part was shut down. But it's a good run, a lot of fun. But to your point about being graded, those guys, they were going to be graded that day live.
Yeah.
And their supervisor was giving them feedback at halftime.
Yep.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, college officials have a 1-hour mandatory pre-meeting and then a post-game mandatory assessment of their game, which high school officials do not have that.
Good enough.
Thankfully.
Good enough. All right. Well, Rich, we'll let you off the hook here.
Awesome.
Thanks again to you and Solutions for helping us out today. I know snow is coming, guys, and so take that worry off your plate. Give Rich and the guys at Solutions a call. They'll take care of all your snow removal this season and beyond, and hook you up real nice.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sounds good. Stop into any of our locations at Auburndale, Marshfield, Withee, Greenwood, Roselleville, Stevens Point, and Wisconsin Rapids, and talk to our friendly personal bankers who are here to help you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. All right, guys, Jason here with the Zaleski Sports Show, and we are back. We are nearing the end of the first quarter in this Division 6 game. St. Mary's Springs is up 7-6 over Iola Scandinavia. We are now joined by Scott Larson from the Marshfield Area Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Got it all.
Right.
Got it all fit in there. So you've kind of got a big time of year going on right now, don't you?
It's busy time of year. The fall is very busy for us at the chamber. Obviously, a lot of activities that go on. There's programming that we've got going on in the fall. A lot of things that we do with workforce development. We have our Firm of the Year. We have our Working Women's Wednesday Fall event. We have Business After Fives that are going on throughout the course of the year. So yeah, it's just a number of things that there's no shortage of activities for this time of year.
And you got a lot to talk about. So if I forget about some things, just interrupt me.
Sure.
You mentioned Firm of the Year, Nasonville Dairy.
Correct.
2017 Firm of the Year. That was just celebrated about 3 weeks ago, perhaps, give or take, maybe a month now. Ken Hyman and the rest of the Hyman family there have been doing a bang-up job for a long time. A long time in our area. They are a big-time employer in our area. They produce top quality cheese and other products, sausage, other things like that. I could go on and on about them. They've been a big supporter of the Zaleski Sports Show, so I was taking a moment just to say thanks to Ken and Kim and Brenda and all the rest of the gang over there at Nasonville. But we had I don't know, I guess back in the spring maybe a milk dispute that kind of went around the state, and I know Nasonville helped did everything they could to make sure there was a happy home for all the milk that was out there, and to support our dairy farms and others. Mullins Cheese, you can go on and on down the list. The folks that help with that, and I know they're always away. So that very well earned Firm of the Year. Congratulations again to Nasonville Dairy. Rotary Winter Wonderland, they've got to be about done setting up now.
We're pretty close. This next Saturday is kind of looked at as the last setup Saturday,
Okay.
which it has to be because
in 2 days.
yes.
Yeah.
This Saturday coming up.
Yeah.
Because the following Friday is when we're going to go live. So the event will be live and open through Christmas or Thanksgiving Eve. Right after Thanksgiving and run till New Year's Eve. And so that's 38 days. And so yeah, this coming Saturday is going to need to be our last setup day for it.
Well, I know it's a great sense of pride in the community to have that here. I know that we get a lot of visitors from the area.
We do.
So our tourism is boosted from it, and then just all the volunteers that make that happen. Unbelievable, the army of people that are involved in it.
Well, and it takes an army of people to set that up. So you're talking 1 million plus lights with all the displays that go on. And so obviously it's an event that not just the 2 Rotary clubs would be able to do that size without all the volunteer help from the area.
Yeah, and I know that they have that display, and everybody that's done it now for 15, 18
12.
years? 12 years, okay, I was close with 15, so 12 years. I know they've inspired people outside of the area. A friend of mine, Scott Wolchek, who was originally from Marshfield, now lives in Mankato and involved with the Kiwanis Club in Mankato, saw this display early on then. It must have been probably 10 to 11 years ago, and now have a light display in Mankato that is almost, I don't want to say an exact replica, that's not the word, but certainly inspired by that. And if you ever get over to Mankato, it's a great show over there. And I know other communities do it, but this display is big. It's good. It's fun. The kids. It's a family event. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, we think it's a pretty special display. You talk about displays, other areas being inspired by it. We were actually inspired by La Crosse's light display. They've been going on for 20 plus years, and so our idea is sprouted from what they've been doing, and we've been able to produce something that rivals what they have down in La Crosse area, and so we're pretty proud of that. We've got something new this year. We've got the gingerbread jams. So we've got creating a gingerbread house down on the zoo, utilizing the gazebo, and so we'd encourage everybody to come down and take a look at that. There are other new displays as well that go on there, but plan is to have multiple entertainment throughout the season, and so to utilize that gingerbread house for that.
Yeah, sounds good. Before we talk about the holiday parade tonight, so we've got teddy bear here from the zoo store. It's the Muncie and Boda exhibit down at Wildwood Zoo, and there's a trivia question. There's been a couple answers. We haven't had a right answer yet, so we'll ask the trivia question again, which has really nothing to do with the bear or sports, but we just like to kind of mix in just some trivia. We want to get the whole audience here engaged, and I know everybody that's watching isn't always a sports fan, so which is a shame too, but that's a whole different story. So the trivia question is Lake Tahoe, out in the western part of the country. There are 2 states that border Lake Tahoe. You just need to know one of them, so just hit in the comments there which state it is, and cute little bear is yours. So we'll get that taken care of. So talking about cute bears and cute floats and other dressed up as Snow Queen, and of course Santa Claus himself is going to be at the parade tonight. What time does it start?
Parade will kick off at 6:30.
Okay.
Lineups start at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So those that have their floats, they can start the lineup process at 5 o'clock. Main Street Marshfield is the organization that puts the holiday parade on, and so we take and help them out. I participate in the parade by helping send the floats down Central Avenue. So been doing that for a number of years. So it's good. It's a great event. It's a great way to kick off the holiday season. It's a great opportunity to showcase our downtown and just get everybody into that holiday spirit.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. The weather should be good, so it's a great day to come out at night and enjoy everything that's going on in downtown Marshfield, including here at Nuts Deep, 801 South Central Avenue. They'll have drinks, food, for pre-parade, during parade, post-parade, whatever you need. They'll be here the whole time. Many other businesses up and down Central Avenue too would love your support. PJ's Tropical Paradise right next door is free hot chocolate. I know there's a couple others that are doing similar things, so make sure to, when you get down here, to walk around a little bit, check out some other things.
After the parade, the activities aren't done just with the parade. So once the parade is done, we encourage everybody to stop by the Holiday Inn, give a chance for the kids to meet Santa. There'll be cookies and some entertainment after the parade. So come down, you can watch the parade, and then that's not the entire evening. So there's an opportunity then to move to the Holiday Inn and partake of the festivities at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, as we take a look here, take a quick break for football. Score remains 7-6. St. Mary Springs up by 1 over Iola Scandinavia. We've got some things to sort out in the field here, and I'm going to ask my friend Donnie. Hey, say Donnie. Donnie Snyder. When she comes back, can you have her turn that one down just a little bit, that TV? Okay. So we got pass interference coming up against the defense, which is St. Mary Springs right now. So Iola Scandinavia, who was on the move already, will have a little bit easier go of it here with a 10-yard penalty in high school sports. It's a 10-yard penalty. Well, we're still sorting some things out here. We're not quite ready for that yet. So one last note on the parade, speaking of sorting things out and making things known to people. It's a great night to watch, and I encourage everybody to get downtown to watch. If you can't make it downtown, you can still watch the parade, and there's a couple different ways. Charter Cable, channel 989, the parade will be live. And then a number of Facebook pages around town. Marshfield TV, Focus on Marshfield, the Marshfield Police Department, and the Marshfield Fire Department both are simulcasting that live stream of the parade. And that will be hosted by our friends, and I mean our friends, Debbie Bauer and Todd Dietrich. They do a great job on the parade.
They do. Been doing that for a number of years, and they do a great job at announcing the parade. Yeah,
and I think they genuinely have fun.
Yes.
Watching the parade, which is pretty cool, if you ask me anyway. So, all right, we're going to take just a quick little peek here and see if anybody got back to us on our trivia. As I think we finally did sort out that penalty, and it was on St. Mary Springs. All right, we're joined, or we'll say thanks for joining to Abdul Salam. Joined the broadcast here just a few minutes ago. So Lake Tahoe, out there, California and Nevada. Of course, California, Nevada, and I've been to both states. Never been to Lake Tahoe though. I'm told though it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. The lake, the mountains that mirror on the lake, and all that. It's a big vacation area. And so we've got a touchdown here. Under 8 minutes left in the first quarter yet, right?
Yeah.
I think so. I don't think we're near halftime. No, it is the second quarter. Sorry.
Halfway through.
Halfway through the second quarter, Iola Scandinavia, nice run around the outside to the left. Number 44, who scored their first touchdown, he's at it again here as he went untouched.
Yeah.
Untouched.
It's really maybe a little bit of a surprise at just how well Iola is taking it to Springs, which is a perennial power. So
yeah, they are. They are. We were just talking right when we started this Division 6 game, which these two teams are a part of. Amherst plays next, and Amherst has been on a run for the last few years.
Right.
But this year in particular, they're scoring over 45 points per game in the playoffs. They, during the regular season, scored 41-something-ish on the average. They had one loss on the year, and it was to St. Mary Springs.
Yes.
The Ledgers beat them 14-13 down in Fond du Lac, so it was a road game for Amherst, but still. Game's early. It's a close game, 14-7. A lot to be decided yet there. Anyway, at Amherst Division 5 at 4 o'clock, takes on, I got to keep looking here, at the Lake County Lutheran Lightning. We had a fun time. I had the opportunity, Scott, to go to the high school volleyball state championship at the Resch Center a couple weeks ago. Stratford was at state. They made it to the semifinals. And the game before them, Lake County Lutheran, who went on to win volleyball championship this year, I found out were the Lightning, and I thought that was a pretty cool name. What I also found out was that win or lose, these kids have so much fun going to state.
Oh, yes.
They get the hotel experience.
Yes.
They go out to eat at a restaurant, and then after the game, what I noticed as I went to the press room, win or lose, coaches and players show up in there, and everybody, win or lose, was just so honored to be in that media room, to be asked these questions like a professional athlete might be asked, and just the whole experience, I think, is what's pretty neat about high school sports.
It is, and particularly at the state level, when you get a chance to participate in those championships, you're right. You're exposed to a high-level facility to partake in, and the crowds are much bigger than probably most of these players are used to being in front of. You've got the media coverage, televised, and it's a great opportunity for them. A really unique opportunity that it's good to see that they take full advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, and they do, and it's well earned every time, for sure. And these teams, they practice hard. They play hard, and they earned everything that they get when they go down there.
And the nice thing is that Central Wisconsin is always well represented in the sports championships in the high school level here in Wisconsin. So it's a testament to the school districts and the talent that's available here in Central Wisconsin.
Yep. Iola, Scandinavia, about an hour and a half, maybe, hour 15 to our east. Amherst, who, as I said, will play next, is just a stone's throw from Iola.
Right.
So they're a little bit close to us. So those are the two teams. Of course, Amherst beat Stratford, and they beat Spencer Columbus, who were our local representatives that went that won games in the playoffs. And Amherst took care of both of them.
Yeah.
That happens, though.
It does. We had the defending champion Edgar Wildcats that were knocked out. And,
they were beat by now the state champion Bangor Cardinals, who won the game before this. And that was quite a game too. I only was able to see highlights of it. I was actually in Amherst for Amherst Stratford, but Edgar Bangor played in the snow in the second half in that game, and that's when the scoring came to a screeching halt. Snow will do that to you sometimes.
Well, and given those two teams' defenses, it's not like probably anybody was expecting much scoring to take place anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a very tough, close game.
All right, so we see St. Mary Springs take the kickoff back, and I misstated the score before. It's 12-7 Iola Scandinavia over St. Mary Springs. I thought they had the 2-point conversion, but I was wrong about that. So the Ledgers will start at the 16 and see if they can pull within maybe 2 or maybe even take the lead here before halftime. So 7:41 left here in the second half. So again, thanks everybody for tuning in and watching. We're having a great time here with you today. We are at Nuts Deep Bar and Grill in Marshfield, 801 South Central Avenue. Thanks again to Ann Daringer and all the rest of the gang here. They've been treating us well. We've all had a lot of good food.
Right.
And that's always nice. And plenty of good stuff going on here. Looks like the lunch crowd is emptied out. So if you're taking a late lunch today, come on down. Seating is available, and hot, fresh food should be out to you pretty quickly, I would say, if you came right now. So definitely do that. All right, we'll take the bear out of here, and we'll turn to Scott again for what other updates do you have for us? Anything else good going on? I know we've got Wenzel Family Plaza that we heard should be ready by the spring.
Right.
We've got a new community center that will have a grand opening on December 12th.
Yeah. Right. There's been a lot of activities. I'd say the last 12 months in particular, there have been between community and business developments going on. It's been very active in this community. Obviously, Ford Financial Bank, their new building is going to be done in February, and so they're expecting to be able to move into that in February.
Yeah, and you can really see it now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can see, and it looks great.
Yeah, I mean, what a, that's going to be a fantastic view coming in from the north of the city, and we've already got some great buildings out that way as you come into the community, and some new buildings, and this is just another highlight to the growth that's going on right now in Marshfield.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll even comment on the vision of the folks at Forward Financial. I know when Bill Sennels came to the community, that was about 2006, maybe plus or minus a year, but somewhere around there, and then the whole team that he's assembled there really has that kind of vision to make this happen. Forward Financial has expanded all across central Wisconsin, up to and including, I mentioned Amherst a few times already. They last week played Grantsburg at beautiful Forward Financial Field in Stanley, Wisconsin, and it is a beautiful, beautiful facility there. If you haven't had a chance to get up there and watch it, they've got a very, have you been there?
I have been.
Yeah, so they've got I guess you call it a terrace, that has cafe-style tables and chairs, and it overlooks the field, and beautiful, beautiful place, for sure. All right. Can you talk about any other new businesses coming to town?
Well, one that you're probably very much aware of as well, being on city council, is that plans for PCA have been finalized. So construction is starting on the site for that facility, and that's going to be a great addition to the community as well. 250,000 square feet of manufacturing space that's coming to town. As you look back, this community, again, over the last 12 months, we're looking at adding well over 300,000 square feet of manufacturing space by some new buildings. We got Quality Tank Solutions. Their new building is up, and they're in that, operating now. PCA's coming on board. We've got Stainless and Repair that's adding on square footage to their facilities. So
Hewitt Meats?
Hewitt Meats,
had that ribbon cutting a week ago?
Exactly.
Or two?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so they're expecting to be in their new building in April. And then, as you mentioned, the plaza, we're hoping all the final landscaping will be done by June for that. So it'll be open to events in June, maybe, hopefully, July at the latest. So it'll be a great opportunity again to showcase community, particularly downtown.
Yeah. You mentioned PCA and all the hundreds of thousands of square feet of new business, and with that comes new jobs.
Yes.
And that's always important to any community. A community our size can always take on new employment.
Absolutely. And employment is a critical aspect right now. And I mentioned, through the chamber, we have a lot of workforce development programming that we're working on right now. Part of that reason is that every sector of our employment base is looking for employees, from the smallest retail shops downtown to our largest manufacturers. They're all looking for workers.
Yeah.
And so it's critical for us to help to make sure we're creating a pipeline of workers to be able to sustain our growth. Because otherwise, that's the one big thing right now that's inhibiting our companies from growing, is their inability to find enough workforce.
Yeah, well, Marshfield's a great place for commerce, a great place for industry.
Yes.
We've been proving that out now over the last few years, and I think that'll continue. PCA, certainly excited for them to be here. Yellowstone Industrial Park, great place to be. And our downtown businesses are doing well by all accounts. And we do have some vacant storefronts, though, and so if you're looking to start a new business or move a business, Marshfield's where it's at.
Just means we have opportunities.
That's exactly right.
We have opportunities for retailers, so it's a great opportunity for them to look at Marshfield.
All right, we take a look back to the TV, and we see same score: Iola Scandinavia 12, St. Mary Springs 7, and we just reached the 4-minute mark here in the second quarter. St. Mary Springs had the ball, and they weren't able to score. Iola Scandinavia is on the move now, and as soon as we get the wide angle here, we'll have a better look. They do have an important 3rd and 10 coming up, but I think they are within scoring range. High school, though, always tough to know on a field goal.
Yes.
What kind of range a kicker may or may not have.
Yeah, it's hardly a gimme at any time or point on the field for field goal kicking in high school ball.
So we're going to have a timeout. Iowa Scandinavia is going to take a timeout. So they're on the 23-yard line. And so TV is going to take a timeout, and that means we'll give Scott Larson, our executive director of Mackey, one last chance to tell you where you can get gift certificates for this holiday season.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity on that. Yeah, Mackey gift certificates are available at Mackey at the office at 700 South Central Avenue. We're open business hours Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. You can also email in requests, phone in requests. They're a great opportunity. They're available to use at any of the stores here in the Marshfield area. So if you've got that hard-to-find gift person, this is a great opportunity. Give them a Mackey gift certificate, and good for all types of occasions. And this is a great time of year. We do probably half of our sales are between now and the end of the year. And so it's a significant amount of money. Nice thing about these gift certificates, it keeps the money local. So that money all turns over here in the community. Helping our local businesses out. So great way to really get somebody a very usable gift, great gift, keeps the money here in town, helps out all the local businesses.
Absolutely, and I think you hit the nail on the head there with keeping the money local to the best of our ability. And we've got a lot of great places here in Marshfield to spend it, and there are some hard to find gifts for people. And I think the online environment has made maybe some of that the case. A lot of people just see what they want and they just go click a button, and it shows up. So it's tough. I warn my family, usually starting around my birthday, which is July 25th, that when I'm opening my gifts, I tell them, make sure you leave me gifts for you to buy. Stop buying stuff just for a little bit. And that's where that gift certificate you're talking about comes in very handy. Keeps that money local, and people I give them to are excited beyond belief to get those, and they know exactly what they're going to do with them right away.
And the nice thing is that they're good for a year, so you've got a year's worth of time to spend those, and even if you go a little beyond that year, if you bring them back to the office, we'll reissue a certificate. So you can't go wrong with that. That kind of arrangement. So it's a great opportunity, and we're really glad to be able to offer that item here in the community.
So we had on that 3rd and 10, we had a fumble, and we had a change of possession. So we're going to have a change of seat occupants.
Sure.
So thanks for joining us, Scott. We
Jason,
appreciate the time in coming down. You watch a little bit of football here anyway, and got a chance to talk about all the great things that happen in Marshfield.
Yep, had some lunch and a chance to talk football. What better way can you spend a lunch hour?
Sounds good. I'm sure I'll see you down in the parade tonight.
All right, great. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks, Scott. Okay. All right. Well, we'll wrap up that part. We were planning on having some of our friends down from Fairway Mortgage to visit us. So if anybody knows where my friends are from Fairway, send them on down. Well, things get busy out there, I know, and sometimes it's tough to make all your commitments. We'll take a look here, make sure I'm not missing any messages from folks. That can happen too. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, in that case, then. We'll have my friend, Mr. Donnie Snyder, come over and hop in the chair. I know he's got a lot to say, so we could even start him early. And if Todd or Adam, actually, while you're here, we'll text that. Adam Sievert is a friend of mine, fun guy to listen to, fun guy to talk to. So I don't want to leave him out. So I'm just going to send him a quick message here, and then you can let us know what's going on in football while I'm doing that.
All right, 2nd and 8 from the 35. Deep pass, caught, down to the 34. That was a good deep pass.
All right. Let's see. DJ Adam. That may be before. How long have you been in Marshfield now?
7 years.
7 years. Okay. Well, you've probably seen DJ Adam around. Yeah, I'm sure you know Adam Sievert. Anyway, he's a friend of the show. He's our Green Bay Packer expert. Okay. So whenever there's something that I can't handle about the Packers, he usually he'll come in and help us out here. And today he's
sending you messages.
Yeah.
Nice comeback.
Make sure I spell it right so he knows what I'm even saying here. So I'm assuming the message didn't get to him. So we had Mr. Josh Kilty, who proprietor down there at Fairway Mortgage. Jeez.
And a mad basketball player.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. All right. Well, we'll catch Fairway Mortgage a little bit later on today. Big sports fans down at Fairway Mortgage. The whole office. They're sports crazy down there. And you mentioned Josh and his daughter. We were covering Marshall Chaparral's baseball game this past summer, and his daughter threw out the first pitch at the Chaparral's game. And then his niece, Macy Kilty, out of this world wrestler from Stratford. She right now on track to be on the U.S. Olympic team in 2 years. And
Great story.
She's unbeatable.
Yeah.
She's unbeatable in life, on the wrestling mat, in person. She came in, and Rachel, who's really the host of the show, right? I'm just some guy sitting here today. But
Here's a place figure.
yeah, Rachel had taken over the studio that day. I was out of town, and we had Macy in for an interview and kind of a girls' day on the set, which is always fun to do sometimes, right? And just blown it. She brought in a whole stack of trophies and plaques, and we talked about all kinds of stuff with her. The thing I was most interested in, again, I wasn't there, so I didn't get to really probe a lot on it, but we know that from learning about her and then talking to her that day, that she works out 6 times a day, or 4 to 6 times a day. So I wonder what her nutrition is. I mean, how many calories is she? Because she's, I don't know, 5'4" and 130
pounds.
Yeah, something. I mean, she's, so she's working out a lot, and I want to know what her intake was. And Rachel did ask her, and it's kind of the funny answer was she said, I don't know, I just eat when I'm hungry, which.
So do I.
Yeah, it doesn't always work out that well for some of us, just to eat whenever we want to. So, all right, well, we're drawing under 40 seconds here in this Division 6 state championship game, just before halftime. And St. Mary Springs not in a whole particular lot of hurry here. I guess they are on the 18-yard line. 2 timeouts, so they've got some time to think about things. Okay, well, they're going to have to call a timeout here.
16 seconds left.
16 seconds. They'll have a first down, though. So it'll be first and goal for the Ledgers of St. Mary Springs. I thought they were the Spartans. I think a Ledger must be something close to a Spartan. We can maybe have somebody look that up out there and tell us what exactly a Ledger does, or is, or was. At any rate, it'll be first and goal. They're down by 5 right now.
7, it looks like.
Yep. First and goal from the 7. I always like these angles they show during the football championships of the Camp Randall. There are not enough people to fill the stadium. We'll put it politely, right? And and of course everybody from the school will sit right behind the bench, right, to support their team. Yeah, there's always this grouping of these people just sitting off in the corner somewhere. Like, you could sit anywhere and you're sitting off in the corner. I don't know who these people are. I just find it curious.
Trying to get the best seat with nobody around them.
Well, they've got the seat with nobody around them. That's for sure. At least they're not on the upper level. I would probably guess the upper level's probably closed off for this game. That's just an extra layer of security you need and personnel, and there's no reason to hire those people. So nobody in the second level.
Looks like a nice day down there.
Looks like a great day. As I see outside here too, it's a great day. We've got the holiday parade coming up later. Nuts Deep is a perfect place to watch the holiday parade, and with a great afternoon like it is, it's going to be a nice evening. You won't have to be too bundled up outside.
Which is good if you have kids.
Which is great if you have kids. Yeah, 34 degrees right now. It looks like it's about 54, but 34 degrees, which is still nice. I would say Madison's got to be in the 40s then.
That's my guess too.
Yeah, and so they don't look like they're struggling with the weather.
Very few sleeves.
Almost none. Almost none. So yeah, come on down, watch the holiday parade. The Christmas parade is going to take off tonight at 6:30. That happens over on 2nd and Central. We're at 8th and Central. So so if it kicks off at 6:30, you probably want to get a chair outside. And I like the people in Marshfield with the parades. They'll, I bet if we go look right now, Donnie, there would be some lawn chairs set up.
Absolutely agree.
Saving spots already. So come down now, save your spot, get something to eat, come and say hi to us, and then come back at 6 or so, and you'll be all ready for the parade.
Yeah.
You're going to the parade tonight.
I am going to the parade. I have 3 little ones coming with me.
Yeah.
We're all excited about the free chocolate or the free hot chocolate.
That's right. PJ, Patty Arnold from PJ's Tropical Paradise, which is right next door to Nuts here, has got hot chocolate for free tonight. I believe BMO, I want to call it M&I. We had this discussion or Circle the Date, sorry,
Yep.
which right across from
Yep.
the bank there. Circle the Date's having a hot chocolate. I think one other place does too. So, and that's just it. We talked to Scott Larson, our Mackey director, that was here right before you. And so come on down. I mean, absolutely, come to Nuts, Steve. But take a walk too. Go to some of these other businesses that are staying open late. A lot of business owners here in Marshfield are people with families. And I'm a person with a family, and I very much enjoy being home at 6 or 6:30, enjoying them. Well, tonight, these places will be open, and they'll be open for you. So come on down and check them out. Tell them thanks for being open. Thanks for being part of the community and letting you into their establishment.
I think there's actually window decorations too, a contest for best window decoration. It's fun to enjoy. Pass. Touchdown.
Oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy. With 2 seconds left on the clock. 2 seconds left on the clock.
Corner out. Nice.
St. Mary Springs scores, right on the boundary there in the end zone.
Thank goodness for 1
Christensen.
foot down.
Yeah, you just need the ball and a toe, and that might have been all you had. We'll wait for a replay here. But he was hanging on by a thread.
Here we go. Yeah, 1 foot down.
Yeah, he was in though, no doubt about it. He was in, and we've got about 4 cameras there, and I would.
The other one.
Yeah, nobody's looking at his feet though on the footage anyway. So, yeah, I would bet my my friend Maury Hirschgordon from Channel 9 is likely one of those cameras you saw on the field there. So, Maury, when you watch us later, nice job. All right, well, we're about ready to get into halftime here, so we'll talk about some other stuff. I don't think there'll be any scoring here in the next 2 seconds. I'd be completely shocked if there was. That would be an upset.
Guessing a little squib kick.
That would be an upset if there was. So St. Mary Springs is up 14-12, and that'll be the score going into halftime. So at halftime, which for us is going to start right now, Donnie, we'll talk about Premier Printing.
Sure.
And Premier Printing, business right here in Marshfield, that has a lot of cool things going on. One of the cool things, and I'm going to look up trivia while you talk about it, is apparel, and apparel printing and shirts like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually got one that we're giving away today. Whoever can get this trivia question correct will get a Premier Printing t-shirt. But Premier Printing is your premier print shop here in Marshfield. We do everything from business cards to shirts, hats, sweatshirts, heavy coats, light coats. We do menus for restaurants, for businesses here locally. And we really like to support local businesses. Another reason why we're up here at Nuts Deep. We do a lot of business with them and enjoy their partnership. Here comes a squib kick. Let's see if we're going to score. And it's happening.
Nope.
We're at located at 2500 East 5th Street. And so if you have any print needs or have any questions about something printed for your business, for your personal, for family, maybe making a trip to Disney World and you want everybody to have the same colored shirts with your name on it, see a lot of those, give us a call. We can give you a quote on what that looks like.
Yeah, good. And as we're here watching high school sports, I maybe mentioned it while I was looking up our trivia question, but if your school, your team, your club, all those kind of things too, and good experience there at Premier of getting big orders and big outfits figured
Absolutely. We even do big orders like backdrop signs.
out. Yeah,
They're
how
really
about
nice.
that, huh? It is a nice sign though. It's a very nice sign,
It is.
and there's not a whole lot that can be done to make me look good, but this probably put me up a half a notch
Well,
anyway.
that shirt did too.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I always like to wear the blue, so got my blue working again today. So, all right, well, let's do a trivia question.
All right.
We've done some sports, we've done some other. We did geography.
I got the Tiger Woods one.
We did, yeah. We did history. We had Who Painted the Sistine Chapel? It was Michelangelo.
Michelangelo.
Yeah. So this one would be this kind of pop culture. It's a movie it's an '80s movie, and yeah, a lot of good movies.
I was a young guy then.
A lot of good movies were in the '80s. We just at my house, I mentioned time with family a few minutes ago. We watched the Gremlins, and I don't know why we did, but 2 weeks ago or so we watched the Gremlins, and my son, he laughed at it like sarcastically for about the first 30 minutes or so, and then after that he was like, "It's kind of a funny movie." I'm like, "Oh, all right, yeah, Steven Spielberg and all that thing, and the Gremlins, and and then it was one of those movies too where it got really commercialized. You may remember as a kid, but there were Gremlins toys and
absolutely.
probably McDonald's.
It still is.
Well, you're right. Drive-through Happy Meals probably had a Gremlin thing in it. It was one of those kind of movies. This movie wasn't exactly that level as far as commercialization, but it was probably even more popular. I think, I don't know about stats, but in my opinion, more popular than the Gremlins. This movie, Back to the Future. Right?
One of my favorites.
Classic movie. There was a trilogy, and the others were good, but the first one, of course, was the best one. And then, so the question is, now all that explanation, right? Anybody even still watching? The question is, which actor played Marty McFly? Right? Lead. He's a lead actor.
Yeah.
Right? There's your hint. So, now you probably know the answer.
I do.
I know the answer. Now, for the people that are watching, we've allowed them to use Google. As a matter of fact, not even allowing them, but how can I stop them? I'm here, they're there. So, yeah, we've had winners, and I'm sure they've used Google. So go out, guys, Google it. If you don't know the movie, I know, though, a lot of my audience is in our age group, so I'm sure they already know. And some would be disappointed if they didn't know. So Marty McFly, and his dad's name was George McFly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see here.
Biff was in it.
The protagonist was Biff.
Yeah.
And there were some other.
Doc.
Doc, yeah, and he was in a lot of movies as it went on too. And then in his girlfriend, Marty McFly's girlfriend, she was on a thing here not too long ago, like a documentary, kind of one of those deals where what happened to so and so, kind of a deal, and she started a marketing career after that. Yeah, I don't think she acted again after that.
I don't know that I've ever seen her.
No. But anyway.
Can you name her?
Boy, no, I couldn't. Not without Google. Now give me the Google, and
where would
I'm done.
we be without Google?
And I'm done. So, all right, what's our shirt?
All right.
What do we got here? I'll look up to see if anybody's chipped in with an answer here yet.
Got ourselves a Premier Printing T-shirt.
Nice.
It is we'll call it a one-size-fits-all because it's big enough for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, let's just take a
Did you end up giving away that bear?
quick peek here.
Somebody get your Lake Tahoe question right?
Somebody did, yeah.
All right.
Oh, we got a. Yep, there we go. Yeah, Larry Pasiak is our winner of the bear. So way to go, Larry. Did a nice job. I don't certainly can't know everybody who's watching, right?
Right.
Or if they don't make themselves known, I don't know who watches, right? So it's kind of funny when you see a name that you know on there. So Larry Pasiak is. He knew me as a child. He was friends with my dad, probably, in Granton, which is just west of here by a few miles. And then one of those oddities of life. Later on, I had a family. I'm all grown up, and also our mail carrier comes up, and I had kind of one of those days where I was out there and just, hey, hand it to me instead of putting it in the mailbox. And he says, "Hey, Jason, how you doing?" And I'm like,
"How do I know you?"
I'm not sure, but and he explained to me who he was. Well, he was my mail carrier,
Oh.
right? Well, now he's my trivia contest winner.
Nice.
So Larry shows up in all the right places. So okay, so we just asked yours, so let's ask it again here. Takes a few minutes to get typing on the Google,
Absolutely,
right? So the movie Back to the Future, which I would say was 85 83, 84?
83, 84.
Something like that.
I'll give a hint if you want.
Boy.
You also played in.
Well, hold on. Well, I'll ask a question first, and then then we'll do a hint. And he played a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he did.
Right? I mean, a really, really well-known actor.
Inspiration.
Yeah, and an inspiration, no doubt about that, right? He lives with Parkinson's disease now.
Yep.
Yeah. So, boy, it's clues here, right? Yeah. So the movie's Back to the Future, early to mid '80s, and Marty McFly. So Marty hooked up with a scientist. He didn't. If I think back to the movie, he didn't particularly like school that much, right? Or something about that.
Yep.
He'd rather hang out at this scientist's house, at Doc's house, and he goes over and he's got his electric guitar, and Doc's got these huge speakers set up, right? And he plays one, and he goes flying backwards, and somehow Doc's a wacky scientist, and he builds a time machine, and a lot of movies about time machines, but this is far and away the best one. And so he hopped in the DeLorean, and he's got the flux capacitor inside. You need to get the DeLorean up to 70?
88.
88. Jeez, this guy here. So if you get the DeLorean up to 88, and there was a dial in there, and you turn the dial to the particular year you want. They went back to 1960, something or other, for some reason.
Well, he went back because Doc was shot because the terrorists were.
That's right.
The terrorists shot him because they were coming for the plutonium.
His Volkswagen van he
Yeah.
had there. Anyway, so Marty McFly goes back with the scientist, and he goes back to try to solve some problems. Turns out he also gets mixed in with his former, now current mom and dad. And his mom falls for him. Mom calls him Calvin Klein in the movie.
Why is that?
Well, let me...
she was washing his pants.
She was washing his pants.
And had his name on them.
And he was wearing Calvin Klein's, which who doesn't? And thought his name was written in his underpants, so called him Calvin Klein. It's kind of a funny part of the movie, I thought anyway.
Yeah.
And then he's eating dinner with the family that day, and then he correctly predicts what Jackie Gleason's going to say. Or he asks if they're watching a rerun or something.
Yes.
Something like that.
And
what's a rerun? Yeah. Good. We could probably do the whole movie right here.
Say we can keep going.
Anyway, so so Marty McFly, he plays the character in the Family Ties.
Yep.
That his other
brother in Family Ties.
What was his name in that show?
Mike.
Family Ties.
Wasn't it Mike?
I don't know. He was.
If you give me enough time, we'll find it.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, so just tell me the actor's name. I know I got my phone buzzing here, so probably have some. Probably have some answers here. Our folks from Fairway Mortgage are on their way.
Perfect.
So they had what you call a scheduling snafu. Take a. Whoops. Oh yeah. All right, yeah. Well, so Kevin, we're going to give you the shirt. So Kevin Kruzan, yeah, I like the answer though. I just think it's such a funny answer that it's not his name though. But Family Ties, Alex P. Keaton.
Alex P. Keaton, that's who it was.
So, and his real name is a middle initial as well. So, we'll give Kevin the shirt. I think that's a good one. So Michael J. Fox.
Yes, sir.
Right, Michael J. Fox, Marty McFly, Alex P. Keaton. He did a show called Spin City on TV. I don't know if he did any other movies after that or not. I mean, of course, he did all three of the Back to the Futures, which is enough for a lifetime.
I was going to say he made him a ton of money.
Yeah, money, experience, fame, whatever he wanted. It was probably all his at that point. So, yeah, that was cool. All right, so we're still at halftime. Still at halftime here. Let's talk a little bit, Donnie, about Premiere. We mentioned the apparel. We kind of briefly touched on printed materials like that. But what about signage and other things like that?
Well, we do a lot of other signage too, like decals, laminate decals for big trucks, small trucks. If you want something really cool in the back window, we can do that. For restaurants, we'll do in and out stickums on the walls or on the windows. We do a lot of yard signs, bigger signs for restaurants or other businesses. kind of got our hands into just about anything you want printed, give us a call. We can definitely help you out with getting an estimate on what it would be. But if you're looking for signs and stuff you're selling, things that you want, just bring awareness to. We do a lot of that. We also do apparel catalog online stores.
Okay.
So if you're a business and you want to have an apparel line, we can build you an online store.
Okay.
With all your branded apparel,
right,
which is another really good thing too.
Yeah. And as a consumer or a group, like I mentioned, or a business, embroidery, logos, all that kind of thing for sure. Again, we're here at Nuts Deep Bar and Grill, 801 South Central Avenue, Marshfield. We're talking about high school football today. We've got division championships taking place. Division 7 wrapped up, I don't know, hour and a half ago. Bangor Cardinals took down Blackhawk Warriors, and so they are the Division 7 champions again. They've won now 2 of the last 3 championships, with Edgar winning last year. In between that one. And I would expect Edgar to be back in the mix again. Now, they were beat by Bangor, so I guess
beat by the champ, right?
I guess right. That's a consolation of sorts, and Coach Sins will have his guys all ramped up, and boy, they have a lot of fun playing football in Edgar. They really admire Coach Sins, and how couldn't you, with the legendary status that he has there. And so now we're watching Division 6, which is St. Mary's Springs Ledgers. And if anybody can tell us what a ledger is, we'll find you a gift for that too. I think Ann here at Nuts Deep has got some gifts that she's going to be, some giveaways, some prizes, so we'll hook you up with one of those. And they're playing against Iowa Scandinavia Thunderhawks. And we're at halftime. And
good game?
A very good game. So come down and watch it with us. Grab yourself a burger, wraps, salads. We've got appetizers, all the different things you can want here, and they're all here for the taking, along with football. So, what a day!
It's a great day. Sports and food.
So Donnie, last one for you here. I mentioned Nuts Deep is where we're at. Small Business of the Year in 2017. And you mentioned menus and that. I know right now you're working on menus for Nuts Deep. Any spots left on the menus?
Yeah, we've got a few advertising spots left on the Nuts Deep menu. It is a premier restaurant here in town, so you're going to get a lot of visibility both here in Marshfield and in Spencer, and then all the takeout menus. So if you're interested in advertising your business in the Nuts Deep menu, feel free to reach out to me, and you can meet me. You can reach me at Premier Printing at 2500 East 5th Street.
There you go.
Or you can email me at donnie@trimediadesign.com.
Nice. So 2 pretty quick ways, or just find them around town.
I'm always around.
I think that
Yep. Now you can put a face to the name if you haven't seen them before, and I think any time of day is a good day to talk to Donnie about anything that he just mentioned he can do with Premier Printing or any other opportunities you have. Donnie be the first one to help you out. So make sure to do that, and then we'll just say thanks for helping.
Appreciate it.
Make sure Kevin gets the shirt. He'll look forward to it, and that was pretty cool. Pretty quick answer. He said it wasn't exactly right, but man, I got what he was saying.
I cut the sleeves off for him. It's part of it, right?
Nice. Let's just take a quick peek here. See if there are any other answers after him. Okay, so yeah, you hate to give a prize on a mostly correct answer, and then somebody comes in with a completely correct.
That's true.
We got other stuff around here to give away though too. We got a cool beach bag there.
Nice.
We got a ceramic round bar. We got to figure out what to do with that. Maybe that could be like a keepsake for the show. I don't know. Just kind of it's a cool thing. I don't know where I'd put it in my house though. Is I guess where I would be at.
Usually leave it to the ladies to figure that out. I don't know. Yeah. I'd probably put it in like the bathroom, the wrong place to put it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can go tag Todd over there.
All right. Appreciate the
Send
time.
him this way, Donnie.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining us. And third quarter's about to start, so guys, come on down to Nuts Deep 2 and 801 South Central Avenue, right here in Marshfield.
We start racing in January. So then we'll have racing, wrestling.
You both coming on?
All at once.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, we're just busy and how are the kids? How's Hunter? College. Yeah, is he liking it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's neat. Wow. For her. That's my cousin.
Nice. Nice. Are they ordering anything? Did she get something to eat while they're here?
He doesn't eat here.
Oh, I remember now. Ice water only. I forgot about that. Yes. Yes. So come on over, guys.
All right.
Have a seat.
Have fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought a shirt for you guys.
Right here. Okay. Well, yeah, bring it with you. We'll be doing trivia, and we'll give the shirt away. And I know there's a story behind these shirts, so I want to hear about that too.
There is.
Josh told me about 2 parts of it the other day, so I didn't get to the end of the explanation. So, all right. Well, we're live, so
Okay.
we'll just off we go. We'll roll right through. Josh, come on, have a seat, man. Have a seat. We're gonna hear about the shirt here in just a minute. I know I've heard a little bit about them so far, but we'll hear about that. First, we'll give an update on the game. So we're just into the 3rd quarter in Division 6 championship. I'm kind of in Todd's territory here. Maybe you could do some football game explaining. This obviously here is a pregame interview. So St. Mary Springs late touchdown, 2 seconds left on the clock. Scored a touchdown before halftime to go ahead, coming into the half, 14 to 12. Turn that off. It's been a really competitive game. It's been a fun game to watch so far. So 14-12, the Ledgers ahead of the Thunderhawks.
This is Iola and
Scandinavian, St. Mary Springs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't cover any of those games this year as far as our broadcast, but we know St. Mary Springs has the history of being so great for so long that it's just great that Iola's hanging in there because you always think Springs is going to blow everybody out. 'Cause that's usually what they do.
Well, Iola Scandinavian's been right with them the whole time. Like I said, they led up until 2 seconds left in the first half. So they led. The game next starts at 4 p.m. That's Amherst against Lake County Lutheran, the Lightning. So we have the Falcons and the Lightning going on. And what's interesting about that game, how it crosses into this game, Amherst has 1 loss on the year, and that's to St. Mary Springs.
That was 14-13.
14 to 13. It was early in the year, and it was in Fond du Lac. So we'll give Amherst, a little bit of something there as far as that. But still, St. Mary Springs, they can play football.
Oh, they sure can. Yeah, if they can compete with Amherst, because Amherst got a great tradition, but so does St. Mary Springs. So it should be a great game, and even if Amherst does win, it's fun to watch them because they'll have some Division I athletes there probably, usually coming out of Amherst. I mean, they usually do. Even if they have to walk on, they're still going to look at Groshek and that Biatch or whatever play for the
They're
Badgers.
both playing right now.
Yeah.
Groshek having a bigger role, but they both play right now. So it looks like thought we had 3rd quarter underway. It looks like we're just coming into it here. Unless I missed something. It was a really long halftime, though. That's what I will say about that.
TV timeout.
Oh boy, I guess they're not used to that. So, all right. So Todd and Josh here from Fairway Mortgage. We'll get into Fairway here a little bit. Then we'll talk about some other stuff. We'll do a trivia question or two, and then find out as we see some Stratford Tiger highlights from
2007.
10 years ago. A few years ago.
I wish they could have made it back again.
Interesting highlight. Well, and that Amherst team. We've been talking about Amherst all day, but they made such an impact on local football by beating Spencer Columbus and then beating Stratford in back-to-back weeks. And Amherst is still relatively local. It's hour plus away from here, and but 6 straight Final Fours Amherst has made. It's their 4th straight trip to Camp Randall. If you played as a freshman for Amherst, you've been to Camp Randall now every year, so it's just regular for you to go to the state championship game. Can you imagine that? Most kids don't go at all. Those kids have been there every year they played football. Probably look to keep going too. They've got a sophomore and junior group that is pretty spectacular right now too. So anyway, so Fairway Mortgage, guys, anything good going on right now down at the office? End of year stuff or any? I guess just start with maybe how many years you've been in business, and then what's going on.
I'll let you handle that one.
I'll start. Between the two of us, we've got almost 40 years of experience in mortgage lending, which is kind of unique, I think, in our situation. Year-end stuff, it's always busy. It's kind of like the push of winter's hit, so let's get in our houses, let's do our stuff so that we can hibernate for the rest of the time. But good things going on. There's always good things going on. Rates are still low. There's still houses for sale. People are still looking. So hopefully they're out there looking and we can help them out. So that's the biggest thing we want to offer.
What are the realtors saying about the inventory right now? Plenty of places to choose from yet?
It's still pretty low. I mean, it was a great 2017 with the standpoint of what was out there, what was selling, and things were selling quickly. But there's still some out there. Inventory is kind of low, but that's everywhere. There's still houses available. People are still looking at, moving around a little bit. But like anything, winter is slow it down and, hunker down for the most part. So.
Would this be, I don't know if it's seasonal, but as far as doing any refinancing or anything like that, would this be a good time for something like that?
Absolutely. And from a concentration standpoint, most people, realtors and even borrowers and banks are looking at taking care of the people that are moving houses, period. But now it's one of those times that people can settle down, focus on their finances a little bit, look and see if their equity is there, refinance maybe to a lower interest rate, potentially even cash out just to see where they're at. It was a great market of values of houses going up or stabilizing, so people might take a look and say, it might be time for me to look at my finances too.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So always something going on.
Always.
Yeah.
Well, and the potential for rates going up is better than them going down, I would say. So, they've been pretty stable for quite a while, but at some point they're going to have to start clicking up. So, if you want to refinance, it's probably the time to do it before rates do go up.
Right. Yeah. Take advantage while you can. Get that locked in, and then you're good for that duration of that loan. And so, the risk reward probably just isn't there to skip it. I'll just wait till next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's too much risk in that when you have the reward of a low rate right now.
Correct. Yep.
Well, and it's always good to have a review every so often because we're only going to do the refinance if it makes sense. We'll take a look at it with you or with the client and make sure that they're covered and taken care of. And if it's not enough of a rate difference, we won't do it.
Yeah.
If it makes sense, then we'll present them the facts and say, hey, you can save this much money over the life of your loan. Why wouldn't you do it?
Sure. Okay. And then where can people find you in person? And then what about online?
In person, we're located downtown Marshfield, 211 South Central. They can find us there almost all the time. Our phone number is 715-384-7878. We always have someone there to answer. And from an online standpoint, we're kind of all over the place. Obviously, social media, Facebook, we're there. We both have websites, and it's www.ferrymarshfieldjosh and ferrymarshfieldtodd. Pretty easy to find.
It's really easy. All right, good. Well, give these guys a call. Give the office a call if you can't find either of them. Get your new house financed, or if you want to take a look at a refinance and see if they can free up some cash for you and maybe just make things smarter in your budget. They'll help you with that. So give these guys a call and get that all figured out. All right, well, so let's see here. We're just coming up on the 10-minute mark in this Division 6 game. Score 14-12. St. Mary Springs is ahead. Just that touchdown. I wish you guys could have been here to see it. It was a really cool touchdown, right in the corner of the end zone. Toe drag, swag, as the kids say. I mean, he did it all in the end zone there with the ball. Really, really nice looking play. And what was maybe even better than the catch was just the calmness that St. Mary Springs went down the field. They got the ball with a little bit over a minute and went about 65 yards. Just kind of cruised down the field. You could tell that they've been coached well. They have experience because they had no nerves at all. They didn't stutter, stumble. They just marched like they knew they were going to do it.
Yeah, these teams got a lot of history, so they definitely got the experience down there. I know Iola's made some long runs in the playoffs as well. I don't know how many times they've gotten to state, but they've definitely made some long runs in the playoffs to have that experience.
Yeah, and they're on a run right now too. They had 2 losses coming into the year, or coming into the playoff season, and many people actually I talked to in there were surprised that they made state. They not disappointed they made state, but just they thought it might have been somebody else. So sometimes you have to be hot for that to happen. And I know that Green Bay Packer fans will know what that means. I don't know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, Packers were sitting at 6-6 that year, and they went on to beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl as a 6 seed, a wild card. They played every playoff game on the road, won them all obviously, and then beat the Steelers down in Arlington, Texas for Aaron Rodgers' only Super Bowl. Do I have it right?
You do.
Yeah? Okay.
It's the only one they got.
Okay.
Yep, the only one. And they did make it quite a run because they had to win almost all their games at the end of the season, the last 4 or 5 games, just to get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because they were struggling. then they got hot at the right time, like you said.
Yeah, Charles Woodson had a big game that Super Bowl against the Steelers, and
he got injured in that. He got injured in that game though. Charles Woodson got injured. He was playing very well, and then he got injured, and then we're all like holding our breath, going, I wonder what's going to happen now with the defense. And they able to step up and still play well without him in there. But yeah, he got injured during that game.
It was a year that Donald Driver was injured, and somebody that maybe had deserved to participate in the Super Bowl didn't get to. But still, made it happen in other ways, and his experience on the team, his experience in the locker room, and all those kind of things is always things to be talked about there. So we're second and goal, and Todd
got it. Touchdown.
There you go.
I was waiting for the signal from the referee, to make sure it was for sure in, but I didn't see him signal.
Well, no, we saw kids jumping around with their hands up.
That they always do that. Doing the radio, they always, they're at the games doing the radio, and they always do that. And you never can tell until the ref actually raises those hands.
Yeah. Well, took a 5-yard run. Punch and just straight ahead, just quarterback. I don't even know about draw, just quarterback run.
Yeah, he just
plowed ahead, ran over 2 guys, and he was in for the score.
Looks like Amherst just spread them out, with 3 or 4 receivers, and then just let him do the quarterback draw, which is a great play because you don't have all that bulk in the middle.
Well, we've got number 3 here, Wechter for St. Mary Springs, and number 3, Gladowski for Amherst, and right there wearing the white and blue, they didn't look a whole lot different. So, pretty exciting time. So 21-12, 8:15 left. All right, before we talk about the holiday parade, which is going to happen a little bit later on today, I'll let you guys talk about the shirt, and then we'll do, while you're talking about the shirt, I'll look up a trivia question.
Well, on Fridays, every Friday we wear red shirts, and it's in honor of the vets of this country. And as you can see, it says red. Remember everyone deployed. So Fairway's proud to, and I'm proud to work for a company like Fairway that has an offshoot of them called the American Warrior Initiative. And what they do is they have rallies throughout the country, and they help various vets with something they need, disabled vets. We've given away houses, we've given away money to start up businesses for disabled vets. And we've also recently given away a lot of service dogs because a lot of vets have had some issues with PTSD and some other things that are going on in their life, lots of flashbacks, things like that. So the dog is just so comforting, can help them with whatever. They can be trained appropriately for them, whatever their needs are, and also be just a companion for them. And the story that I always go, because I've been to about 4 or 5 of these rallies, and the one I tell the story most about is the one where the guy got a service dog, and he said straight out, if I hadn't gotten this service dog, I wouldn't be around. I wouldn't be here. Because the dog was just so comforting and gave him a reason to live.
Yeah, right.
So then what he did is he was so excited about it and so compassionate about it that he decided to start his own business raising service dogs or training service dogs for other vets.
Okay, sure.
So
wow.
Just the way he took hold of it and said, hey, if it can help me, it can help a lot of other vets and save some of their lives. So again, that's something that Fairway sponsors and definitely a way to give back to the vets of this country, so I'm real proud to work for a company like Fairway.
Cool. Well, now I know the whole story. So I was kind of half teasing Josh, I don't know, a few months back. Or maybe he was teasing me, I don't remember which it was. But Century 21 Team Decker, sponsor of Zaleski Sports Show, and we're happy that they help out and make the show possible. I was doing an interview with Coach Gadel from Marshall Senior High football team, and they were the highlight sponsor that week. Which is again a reminder to both of you that sponsorships are available, and we can reach tens of thousands of people, and so on and so forth. Anyway, and so Stephanie Spaeth kind of half joked to me, "Well, you should wear one of our shirts when you interview." I said, "Extra large." What did it matter to me? So I think somehow Josh saw it or something like that, and he said, "Hey, we got to get you to wear one of these shirts." So now it makes perfect sense. I'd be very proud to wear the shirt, sponsorship or not. So.
It's our uniform every Friday.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Very cool. So, all right, well, let's ask a trivia question and see if we can get somebody else besides us to wear that shirt. It's a pretty cool trivia. So we've done some not sports. So we're just trying to mix it up a little bit. We'll go back to sports, though, for this one. And this goes back to for me anyway, to my childhood. So I'm 42. So early 80s. I can remember watching this guy play in the NBA. It's probably the last time I watched the NBA. Just be honest about that too, which has been more difficult in my house. My son, who just turned 18 on November 2nd, during the last, I guess about a year ago, started following these Ball brothers from Southern California. All right, and I know everybody's heard about them, mainly because of their dad, which is unfortunate. But at any rate, in my opinion, so he started following this, and he became a big Baller brand fan. And then the Ball kid was drafted by the Lakers, and now he's got 2 Lakers jerseys. He's watching. Last night he's keeping me awake because the Lakers play in Los Angeles, so the games are on at 11 o'clock at night. I'm trying to sleep, and he's yelling and shouting downstairs on whatever he's doing. Anyway, so I'm not an NBA fan, and I certainly wouldn't be a fan of the Lakers if I was. But back during this time I was. So all right, trivia question. The fellow's name was Anthony Jerome Webb. But he was better known as Spud Webb. Yep. He retired from what professional sport in 1997? So I think we probably all know the answer. I know our resident official over here, Rich Hall, knows the answer for sure. And I bet somebody out there knows the answer. Here, the rules are pretty simple. Anybody can look up on Google or whatever to find the answer, and they'll text in or they'll message in. So when that happens, let you guys know who won. Sometimes, or through today, we've had a couple winners right away, and then some have taken 15, 20 minutes. As you can imagine, so it's 2:40 in the afternoon. I think a lot of people besides us are probably working right now. So.
That's right.
But word spreads, the answers come in, and we'll give the shirt to who can tell us about Spud Webb. So Spud probably went about 5'9", 5'10". I mean, there's some legendary status out there that says he's shorter, but I don't think he was under 6 foot.
Absolutely.
Okay,
For sure.
We can agree to that. And he could jump out of the gym.
Yeah, he won the dunk contest.
Yeah.
At whatever 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", whatever he really is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had like a 50-inch vertical, I think, something like that.
Just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just crazy.
That was fun. I watched it. It was a fun dunk contest to watch when you have a little guy like that. It's able to compete with those 6'5", 6'8", 6'10" guys.
Oh, yeah, I would say Dominic Wilkins is probably in that contest with him. And I don't know who else would have maybe been back then. That's probably I got to shut my volume off for this thing. That's what I got to do. But that is probably not an answer. Nope. But yeah, and I couldn't even tell you how good of a basketball player he was. But everybody knew him from his dunking and his jumping, and I don't know if he was in the Hall of Fame or anything like that.
I don't think
Probably
he didn't make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, okay.
No, he didn't make the Hall of Fame. But he was sure fun to watch. Exciting.
Yeah.
Quick as lightning.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, I don't know, a number of years after that, Muggsy Bogues was another shorter NBA player that really was exciting to watch. I don't know if he could jump like Spud could, but he could jump. And for whatever reason, Spud missed out, I think, just due to timing on the endorsements. Like, if he was a guy like that today, right, he'd be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Back then, I don't know, you probably just got team-issued shoes and, and jerseys and... you got your per diem when you went on the road, and that may have been about it. I don't know, but
especially when he won the dunk contest. You know how many endorsements he would have got from that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he wouldn't have had to play basketball anymore.
Probably not. No. So all right, well, since we've been talking, Iowa Scandinavia looks like they got the ball back, gave the ball back to St. Mary Springs. So St. Mary Springs got the ball here again. Just under 6 minutes left to play. Yeah, they. Kind of a moving.
It's a rugby,
Yeah.
rugby style
It's a
pile. You just
scrum.
keep pushing.
Well, let me ask you, Todd. So you did a number of high school football games today, or this year. Any favorite moments from the season, or anything stand out as you look back on the season overall?
Well, I think the game of the year was, of course, the Edgar Stratford game. We do that every year. That's always on the schedule for us to do that, and we know it's going to be a good game. And it was no different this year. I mean, it was a knockdown, drag-out battle to the end, and of course, Edgar won. But
10-7.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, 10-0.
10-0. It was 10-0. That's
Yep,
right.
it was 10-0. And again, Edgar played it very close to the vest because their defense is just so good. Once they got up 2 scores, and we talked to Jerry Sins, coach of Edgar, and we said, it seemed like you could put some more points on the board, but you didn't. You chose to really get conservative in the second half, and he said, kind of winked at me a little, and then he said, once we got up 2 scores, we just felt like we had this game. Nothing against Stratford, but we just felt they couldn't score twice on our defense. Our defense was just too good.
Yeah, and I agreed with that too. I was at the second half of that game. It was kind of a fog bowl, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. The fog came rolling in. Yeah,
it was a really, I mean, for the game in the 50th, the game, right? And they had the fog. It was everything you'd want on a movie set or something like that. With that game, but no, Kate Eric was hurt kind of coming into that game for Stratford. He left the game early, and they did with a mixture of that Edgar defense and the Stratford what they had left on offense. 0 is what you get on the scoreboard out of that equation anyway, or that night it turned out to be.
Well, Edgar hasn't scored on very often.
No, they're not.
There's only 2 games I think they got scored on all year. So, of course, the game they lost to Bangor. But I think on paper, I would have to say, I'm probably a little biased, but I would say Edgar's probably a better team on paper. But that night, Bangor played well, and Edgar just a lot of penalties, and they had over 100 yards in penalties. They had like 4, 5, 6 holding calls, had some personal fouls, had some face masks. I mean, just didn't play well that night, and I'm sure Edgar met in the middle of the field after the game for a long time. I mean, a long time with Sins and the coaching staff. And they were there for probably a good half hour, 45 minutes, I think. I don't know what they're talking about. I would have liked to have been a fly in the wall or a fly in the field there, listening to what they're talking about. But man, I never seen a huddle that long after the game on the field. Of course, it was a game that knocked them out in the playoffs. But
well, I think, and not wrongly, right? I mean, Coach Sins puts a lot of confidence in his players. They really endear him and look up to him. And again, not wrongly, they thought they were winning the state championship this year. So I'd imagine that huddle, that talk was probably a lot of emotions, a lot of kind of winding. How do we wind this down now? Because it's done, it's over. And I'm sure Coach Sins helped him through that. I mean, he's won a lot of championships. He hasn't won them all though, so he probably had a talk that he's got in his other pocket for those kind of situations. Being an experienced coach like he is.
Yeah, he's always a fun interview to do.
Oh yeah.
Because we try to get the winning coach on after the game, and we just feel that's a great clincher to our broadcast, and we love getting them in that time. And you guys are the same way, I'm sure. And he's a great interview because he's at the point where he's so established. He'll tell you stuff. He doesn't always have to. He doesn't have to always be guarded.
No,
I'm not going to say anything about this or that.
Right.
He'll tell you because he does what he does, and he knows he's going to win, and because he's always had a great winning program.
Right.
So he's fun to interview too.
Yeah, he's the only coach left on the sidelines that doesn't wear a headset either. So
really?
He's got his ball cap, and that's it, and a pencil in his ear, ball cap. Everybody else has got headsets. Edgar, any other team, whatever it is, they've all got that. So. Josh, we'll talk about winter sports a little bit as we're coming down to the 2-minute mark here in the third quarter. St. Mary Springs still up 21-12 over Iola Scandinavia. Anything in particular you're looking forward to in winter sports, whether it be high school, college, pro, etc.?
No, I think it's always the college basketball season, so that's always fun to get into. But just with kids getting older and watching more of the high school sports now, it's like, okay, what's going on in high school? So just I want to keep tabs on just Marshfield to see how they're doing. I'm not from Marshfield originally, but it's when your kids go to the program, let's see what it's like, how it's getting built, and how it's going to play over the year. So kind of excited to watch it this year.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. Very much. Locally, we've talked about this a little bit. I don't predict high school sports. So it's not something I think anybody could predict anyway, aside from maybe Edgar shutting out 6 teams every year in football and some of those other things. But locally, Columbus Catholic's going to have another good run in boys basketball. Seems likely. Girls basketball probably be better than it was last year at Columbus. So that program's looking up. Marshfield Senior High girls, I think, have a pretty outstanding team. They've got 5 seniors on the team this year, a lot of other contributors, and I think they've got one of the best coaches in maybe all of sports, but certainly in girls high school basketball. Coach Michaelis there does a great job with the girls, and she's an outstanding player of her own right.
She was.
If you haven't met, maybe you know Heidi, but some things you may not know about Heidi. So She scored over 1,700 points in her high school career up at Prentice, and so she ranks in the top 50 in points scored in state history. And then went down to the University of Miami, Ohio, and scored over 1,000 points in her college career. Division I college basketball player too. So she knows basketball. She knows how to coach now. I think she's in her 17th year at Marshfield.
Wow.
I know, isn't that something?
It was a long time, but it's really a long
It
time.
didn't seem like that long ago though. But she's, and I'll confirm that with her tomorrow. We're gonna have her on coach on a couch tomorrow, and we'll see if she'll admit to 17 years anyway. And then we got a sneak attack. We got her high school picture up for her too there. So, and then the Marshfield boys. I mean, they'll win games. They'll see. We'll see what happens there. And again, I don't predict the high school sports, but they've Division II now in basketball. So. See what happens there. I don't know. It'll be fun to watch all the games. Though.
You bet. Looking forward to the wrestling season too. It's a pretty outstanding team this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as wrestling's concerned, you've got one of the most outstanding nieces anybody could ever want.
That's why you bring that up.
Holy man, yeah. Well, I know. And she is.
Being orange.
Aside from being an outstanding wrestler, she's just an outstanding person.
Absolutely.
My wife had the pleasure of interviewing her. They did. So the Zaleski Sports, the weekly show, right? I'm sure you guys know. And I did a bike, not a race, a bike tour in Iowa. So I was out. So my wife did the show, and she had Macy on, and they killed it. Macy brought in all her trophies and plaques. And,
not all of them.
Well, in the whole table full. Yeah, you're right. Not all of them. Yeah, whatever she had from the last week, right? Looking forward to following her throughout her next 2 years, right? 2 years to her Olympic goal.
Hopefully, absolutely.
Yeah, that'll be really, really cool to watch. We don't just don't have Olympic athletes hanging off trees around here. So
not every day.
So when you have one, you embrace one, and you cheer for her and wish her the best and all that kind of stuff. So, and then a funny story for you, Todd, about Josh and his daughter, and I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. She the first pitch. She was at the Chaparrals game.
My daughter Delia.
Delia, there we go. We were covering Chaparrals game, and all I heard was Kilty, and because I was kind of in my zone, doing my thing and whatever else. So I'm like, really, check this out here. So we were, we do on the field stuff pregame, and got up closer. She threw a strike. I mean, oh man. I mean, she reared back and she let her rip, and it was solid. It was solid. So she did a nice job that day, and I'm sure, wasn't the first time she threw a baseball.
She wasn't going to bounce one in there.
She did not bounce one in there.
Like some people do. They bounce it in there. She was going to let her rip.
She did, and it connected. I don't. Whoever the Chaparrals played that night, but they beat somebody 12-0. I thought she might have been able to strike one of those other guys out from the other team.
Unfortunately, she's a runner, so she's just.
She's a runner.
She's
Okay.
a runner.
Well, that's good though. Cross country or track or both? Both. Okay. So she just finished up one season.
Yep.
Then does she break for the winter?
Yep, she breaks for the winter. Hopefully, she's training
and then
hard.
spring. Okay. Got it. All right. Well, we'll let you guys off the hook here in just a couple minutes. We've got under a minute left to go, under 30 seconds left to go. St. Mary Springs threatening here at the 6-yard line, and. Todd, take it from here.
There it is.
It's a touchdown.
You gotta let the color guy do his thing, right?
St. Mary's Springs. Basically, just a off-tackle play, just a power play, and the running back did a great job of just pushing his way in. I'm sure his teammates helped him, came from behind like the offensive linemen like to do, and helped push the pile, and that's really all they did to Iola. Nothing fancy.
Yeah, I would say nothing fancy. Just
there's the gang push.
Yep, there it is.
Just I'm gonna run it, and you can't stop me.
No, that's right.
That might be the ball game.
It's going to be tough now, being down by 3 scores basically.
Yeah, I would say it'd be tough for Iowa Scandinavia. Really, since that first quarter, they had a really good run in the first quarter. I guess that's what I'll say, and kind of fizzled out since then. I think they may have really been stung with that touchdown at 2 seconds before half. I think that might have really stung them, and they just don't look like the same team coming out in the second half.
Well, I think that it's a big thing about these programs too. Their coaches are so good that they make great adjustments at halftime, and that's what I look for when I'm doing a game too, is to see what kind of adjustments the other teams are making. And and you kind of see a recurrence of that. The good teams that always win make those adjustments at halftime, and then all of a sudden they're cruising in the second half. And you're like, what changed from the first half to the second half? Coaching staff made some adjustments.
Yeah.
And that may have been the case with St. Mary's. Nothing against Iola, but
No.
you know, they may have made those adjustments, and now Iola is struggling to stay with them.
Same thing happened in the Amherst-Grantsburg game last week. It was 14-0 at halftime. Grantsburg was in it. They had 0, but they were in it. I mean, they were able to move the ball a little bit and came out, and Amherst just controlled the second half. And they made those adjustments you talked about, and 35-7 or 35-6 at the end of it. And sometimes you just can't get back up after that second half adjustment happens. So, all right, well, we'll ask our trivia question one more time, and I'm sure the guys will leave the shirt here. We've got a little bit bigger audience now, so we'll ask it again. Spud Webb, I won't even say this. Maybe that threw people off the first time I said his name his mother gave him. Spud Webb played what sport as a professional? I think that's about as simple as I can put it. Played what sport as he was a NBA slam dunk champion? Those are all the clues, right? NBA slam dunk. What sport? Spud Webb. Sign that in. We'll hook you up with a shirt, and we'll let these guys out of here. Guys, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for coming down. I hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
I know. Josh and Todd both have their food waiting over for them. Now, Josh is on the plate, and yours is in the pitcher. And the people on the camera can't see that, so who knows what's in the pitcher or the plate, for that matter. So, but that's what I understood you've got going on. So, yeah, good.
All right,
good.
Thanks.
All right, guys, appreciate it.
Thanks
Everything. Thanks for stopping in.
No
Good to
problem.
have you on.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day, and hopefully get some good games.
Yeah. Chili Implement is your Gale and Kubota dealer in central Wisconsin. Wisconsinites know that winter is right around the corner, and now is the best time to be ready for the snow. Whether it's a walk-behind or tractor, head over to Chili Implement. Chili Implement, located on County Road Y, just north of US Highway 10 in Chili. Nasonville Dairy, family owned and operated, bringing you fresh cheese curds made daily, along with many other varieties of Wisconsin-made cheeses and treats. Don't forget to check out our cheese and sausage trays for your upcoming parties and cheese and sausage gift packages for the holiday season or any other special occasion. Nasonville Dairy, located just southwest of Marshfield on US Highway 10, nasonvilledairy.com.
We know how a bank should be at Partners Bank. Banking should be easier, treating our customers as valued and important. Services should be better with online and mobile banking and locations close to where you live and work. Loans should be quicker, and we make all decisions locally with years of experience helping people with their financing needs. Partners Bank, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
Partners Bank, better together.
All right, guys, we're back. Jason here with the Zaleski Sports Show. Our trivia question, we just had a correct answer, so pretty excited about that. I was telling the guys, sometimes it takes about a minute or two, or sometimes just takes a little researching around. But friend of the show, Todd Barton, basketball. Yeah, Spud Webb basketball player. And a high jumping, leaping basketball player, no doubt about it. So it was a lot of fun, and Todd's actually going to come down here a little bit later, so sure to be waiting for you, Todd. Thanks for the answer. I don't know, you remember Spud Webb?
I do.
I'm sure you do.
Short guy.
Yeah.
Short guy. Heard you guys talking about it. I remember watching that dunk contest that he won.
Yeah, I remember it too, and that's when the dunk contest was an event. Like you like to watch it.
Yeah,
it was
cool.
fun to watch.
Yep.
Nowadays, I don't know if they even do it anymore, but I know a lot of people don't watch it, including me.
Yeah, I'm not a big NBA fan, but I am a Bucks. I do follow the Bucks. So.
Okay. Well, and the Bucks just made a trade here earlier this week, didn't they?
Yeah,
they got their center.
They got a point guard from Phoenix, and he's fit in real well so far. But they got a young, exciting team, and they have probably one of the best up and young coming players with Antetokounmpo. So.
Oh yeah. He's out of this world good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I saw a highlight as we see Iowa Scandinavia. Just when we thought maybe they might have run out of gas here, they're going to run about 50 yards down to the 12-yard line.
Still a game. They're 2 scores away with 2-point conversion. So.
Yeah. 28-12. St. Mary Springs up over Iowa Scandinavia with under 12 minutes to go in the game. So they'll need to punch it in here, right? You probably don't have any chance if you can't score a touchdown from the 12, being down 16 like they are. So yeah, NBA and me, Rich, a lot like the NBA and you, don't do a whole lot of it. Somebody told me last night the Celtics were probably the team to beat in the East, and they just traded for somebody. I don't know.
I don't follow it near like when I was younger. But it's a young guy's kind of sport. It's not really for me, but
yeah,
I enjoy the Bucks. They are home state team, so.
Yeah, I'm with Josh Kilty over here. I'm a big college basketball fan. I don't even need to have a favorite team. I mean, of course, I follow the Badgers because they're what's on TV here.
Right.
But if it's another game here after NFL, and I don't get into college basketball until January anyway, right? But that's only a month and a half from now. I'll watch any college game on.
That tournament, that Thursday and Friday,
oh man,
opening weekend of the tournament is it's an amazing weekend of fun.
I been to Las Vegas a few times, and I thought it was on my list. I didn't think it, I did it. On my list of things to do during my life was to go to Vegas for that opening weekend of the NCAA tournament, and it was everything you would have expected. It was jam-packed. Probably too many people for me to say that. But it was a lot of fun. It was 95% to 5% men versus women. So it was a lot of men.
Yeah, the great thing about Vegas, especially there, 2 hours behind us even. Mm-hmm. So at 11 a.m. when games kick off, it's 9 a.m. there.
Oh yeah.
And you got games till midnight. So that's what's the fun thing about it.
We were so me and a buddy Mark went down for that opening weekend, and it was the Wednesday, so it was the day before. And there was maybe that play-in game yet, but that didn't get on our radar. And we were wrapping things up wherever we might have been, and it was late. It was 2 in the morning, Vegas time, 2 in the morning. So it was late. And we thought, all right, well let's go get 4 hours of sleep because they're right. The game's gonna start at 9, so let's go get 4 hours of sleep. We'll come back. We'll be first in line at the betting window, get our bets made. And we must have cut through one casino to get back to our hotel or something like that. And we were laughing about it. Oh, let's see if anybody's making bets now. There was a line out the door at 2 in the morning, 7 hours before the first game. The people were already betting, and it may have been probably long before then. But it was a wild time. It's a wild time. We had a fun time though. I've been to Vegas before, and I don't do the slots. That's not really my thing. I'll do the sports book though. I'll go down and put a couple dollars and hit this thing and that thing.
That's cool. Yeah, it's fun.
And
you watch a game different when you have money on it.
Yes, you do. And that's how my story is going to wrap up here. So I've been there before, and I'd stay for the game, and there was some cheering and some not cheering, and that kind of thing. Well, this was. Now from 30 guys in the sports book to 300 guys in the sports book. And 150 of them had this team, and 150 of them had that team, and it was every basket. People were going nuts, and that was fun. Yeah, that part was fun.
I went there in the 90s, mid-90s, and the Bulls were dominating the league, and the Bucks were a fair team. And us being Wisconsin, me and my buddy, we bet that night, and we bet on the Bucks to not lose by a lot. And there was a lot of Bull fans, bandwagon fans there, and we were quite happy when the Bucks only lost by 4 because we won the bet, so which is what it's about. That was a big play in the game right there, Jason.
Boy, I'll tell you, speaking of winning or losing the bet, so it's 4th and 4 for Iowa Scandinavian at about the 8-yard line. So it's 4th and 4, and they ran. They did a toss left, and I think they might have lost a yard.
Yeah, that could pound the nails in. if you notice here, the star running back for the Ledgers is the guy in on a tackle.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Division 6 football.
That is Division 6 football for sure. But yeah, he really just didn't have the blocking. Just never got set up out there, and so credit to St. Mary Springs on that, right? I mean, they were there to defeat and defend that play. Fun to watch though. Yet, I mean, these guys are so excited, so pumped up. They probably know it too, right? After you make that defensive stop on 4th and 4, they probably know what's coming next.
Yeah, now it's going to be a couple first downs here and the 7-8 yard gain on first down. Iola will be hard pressed to stay in this. But it's a great season. You know, getting a gold ball is great, but the silver ball is
right.
You know, not many schools have that kind of hardware laying around.
Still goes in the trophy case back at school. And they're still going to congratulate you after the game. They're going to congratulate you yet for the rest of this school year. That's and the rest of your life, right? You got to be one of those kids that went to Camp Randall for a state championship game. You get to tell that story for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Just to get on the field.
Yeah.
That's why the level 4 games, and you were at a couple of them last week. The level 4 game is kind of the ultimate because it is the Friday night routine. It is the it's such a finality to the team that doesn't get to go because the team that loses here still gets noticed.
They go home with a trophy. They get all the pomp and circumstance, the hotel room, the restaurants, the press conference. They get everything that the winning team does.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep. Just a different colored ball.
Yeah.
And there is no loser here, but
no.
Years from now, the state championship is what. That's what you're marked on.
Now you're right though. The semifinal loser doesn't have the same story to tell as the runner-up.
Right.
Yeah. No, you're right about that.
From what I gather, this coach Bob Highland's his 450th career win.
It's pretty good.
That's real good. If you figure 10 a year, maybe 11, 12.
Yeah, that's 30 plus years of coaching and winning, right? I mean, that's you can't have a 5-year stretch of 2 wins, right? I mean, you're winning each year.
The last guy's there, Todd Schultz. He does radio games. And he's pretty spot on with the adjustments.
Yeah, enjoys. Yeah,
When you see the better coaches and the better teams, they'll find something that works in the first half, or something that doesn't work, and they'll go away from it or they'll go to it, and that's the mark of the better coaches.
Yeah, and you're right about that. And coaches, and especially if we're talking about first half here, I mean, they'll call certain plays that they think will work out for film review. Of course, you're trying to score. But you're also probing, though, too. You're probing for those situations and what will work in the second half. You know, I'm not saying you'll throw away a play, but you'll call them intentionally just to see how the defense reacts to what you did.
Right.
And that'll teach you everything you need to know about your second half. And Iola Scandinavia has been stalled out at 12 points here now since about the 7-minute mark in the second quarter.
Yeah, and the last drive was 96 yards, 14 plays. So
just tough.
That'll wear down on any team.
Yeah, that was tough. When you needed to have it, it was maybe your last shot, and you came up short. That's tough to pick yourself up and get back to the sideline after that one.
That's the Division 5 final. The Lake Country team actually have a crew that I work with in Madison area that had their second round game against. They knocked out Clinton, who was highly seeded and undefeated. So. I do think this Division 5 game may be a pretty good contest.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I was in between games. I was talking to a guy here who is from Kimberly, Neenah, the Appleton area, and he said that those who are talking about teams that are on a run, they won 69 straight Kimberly Papermakers. Right?
Yeah, wow.
Another unbelievable thing to even imagine.
Yes.
69 straight wins. He was telling me that folks in the neighborhood are a little concerned about Sun Prairie.
Really?
A little concerned about that team. They think Sun Prairie is pretty good.
Wow.
We'll find that out tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
But, that would be, I don't know. I don't know if you can call it an upset in a championship game if one team wins over the other.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you?
Probably not. But still, if it were to happen, to have a 69 streak snapped. That would be newsworthy.
That would be newsworthy. Yeah.
We won't call it an upset, but it'd be in the newspaper the next day.
Of all the
maybe even be on a TV show.
Of all the teams you covered this season,
Yeah.
is Amherst the best?
Think that through here a little bit. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And it didn't. I was covering a different game when Amherst played Spencer Columbus, and I found out the score in about the third quarter, and it was kind of a runaway score at that point. And I said to myself, "Yeah, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
They're going to be tough to beat."
They Spencer Columbus had a tailback this year that. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's going to North Dakota State.
That's correct. Full-on scholarship, North Dakota State.
Which is huge, for a small. Again, that is a high-level program for college football. Even if it is it's not the BCS.
No. Carson Wentz, though. There have been other players from there.
I was going to say, Wentz is now a big star. So for his name is Hunter Lupke. For him to get a shot at that level of football is really cool.
Well, I don't know, Rich, what to say about this.
How about this double pass for a touchdown?
Yeah,
Jason.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was
coming out of a timeout.
Yeah, coming out of a timeout, and Iola Scandinavia timeout. So St. Mary Springs took advantage. So quarterback drops back. It's a backward pass, no doubt about it. And then the quarterback does a wheel route then out to the right, and he's hit in stride with that pass.
Great play.
Yeah, untouched. Off he went. And now he's going to hold the point after.
Now he's a holder.
The linebacker, quarterback, receiver, holder.
Probably took tickets before the game. Probably delivered popcorn at halftime.
Might have, yeah.
That's small school football, right?
Yeah, and he'll sweep up afterwards too, right? To help with the bleacher cleanup.
Getting back to the Hunter Lupke.
Yeah.
He was a dominant player in that conference this year, wouldn't you say?
Well, I mean, you hear this term "man amongst boys," right? You hear that all the time, but no, this was it.
Yeah.
If you were to watch a video of that term, that Hunter Lupke was that guy. He was a man amongst boys.
Yeah, and I kind of know the kid a little bit through baseball and football. He's just an exceptionally nice young man.
He is very nice. He's very nice. He's everything you'd want your son or your nephew or whatever. You fill in the blank to be. He was. So he's a kid from Spencer, Wisconsin, which is 10 miles west of Stratford, Wisconsin. And you can imagine you've got two small towns close like that. You know a lot of the kids and all that other thing, right? And so volleyball playoffs were underway. He went to watch the week prior to this story I'm telling you. He went to watch Spencer girls play volleyball. So he went to support his own school. They were beat by Pacelli in a very. They went five games. They went the limit. Spencer did against. So he goes to that match. In between this, his football season ends. The very next week, then he goes to Stratford to watch Stratford's playoff game and cheer on his friends that played for that team. So, just a community-oriented guy, just a guy that gets it, I think.
Yeah. And that's as a rule, these players, they look like such great athletes and on the field, but they're also they're good kids. They're good people, and it's it's a lot of work athletically to get where they are, but just to be in the great person that he is too. So.
Hunter was in the Zaleski Sports Show Highlight House twice.
Cool.
No doubt, right? I mean, you wouldn't doubt that. But he had a couple. He had a lot of good games, but two that we happened to be at. The one was so Columbus and Spencer share their football program.
Co-op, yep.
They co-op, and so Spencer School has a homecoming, and then Columbus as a school has a homecoming, and the team then schedules a home game in Marshfield at Beal Stadium, so the Columbus kids can celebrate their homecoming on the football field. It's a great thing to do, right? When you co-op with somebody, and maybe other schools do it too. But in that game, Hunter Lupke, opening kickoff return for a touchdown. He scored 5 more. He has 6 touchdowns on the day in a rainstorm, in a mud fest, and he was done playing in the third quarter.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, wow is right. So here's stat here. Last 6 games, St. Mary Springs has allowed 23 points. That's it.
That's a stymied defense.
Yeah, that's it. It's 4 points a game. Well, coming up in the 6-minute mark, so Iola Scandinavia's got the ball. Again, here we've got a little bit after 3, so we're going to take a break after this game, and then we'll come back at 4 o'clock. Really, I think for the game everybody's been waiting for today, which is the Amherst game with all those local connections, them playing against Spencer Columbus and Stratford, and being relatively local, and being well known, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Talking to Todd and Josh here earlier, the team has been to 6 straight Final Fours in football, and they've been to 4 straight trips to Camp Randall. And I talked to Coach Lusich on the field after they won their regional last week, or their level 4 game, and he had said something that really kind of caught me off guard. He said, if you were a freshman on this team 4 years ago, that means every time you played football at Amherst, you went to the state championship game. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, that is something to think about.
I can't, it doesn't register with me that for those kids, it's normal to go to the state championship game. It's just the way of life for them.
You know, you look at the programs in our area, Edgar, Stratford, not so much lately, but in the 2000s, you know, for like Stratford to win 6 straight, it's something that if you think about it, 8th graders on up to seniors to win a state title every year. You know, it's really amazing.
Right, yeah, those guys, so they had then in that way 3 sets of freshmen, right? 2 sets of freshmen that went.
That's why the Kimberly thing is.
And
so
they're the same way, right?
To win a Division I that many in a row is just an absolute shocker.
And I don't think it's wrong to say. I mean, Division I, that's a whole different animal too.
Yeah,
you know?
It is. Yeah,
it's a whole different animal when you've got 50 to 65 kids going out for football every year. You got a lot of talent to choose from, so you get the best of the best in Division I. Some of these other schools, and they're very good football programs, so it's not a slight against that at all. But when you've got 20 kids and maybe you've got to convince 3 others to come out and play, the talent's just a little bit slimmer pickings, and thus the reason for the division system. Right. I mean, there's no way Iola Scandinavia or St. Mary Springs, for that matter, would be able to keep up with a mid-level Division I team. No. Just because of a talent deficit, not because they aren't good. But over the course of a game, they wouldn't be able to keep up with that.
That is like we discussed earlier today, the numbers, and you said you were at the Grantsburg Amherst game, and you had said, I thought you said Grantsburg had 20 for
20,
kids.
yeah.
When you think about that, you need 22 to really function, you know, to have a practice, I guess. To only have 20 suit up for a varsity game.
Yeah, they maybe had 25, but under 30 for sure.
Right.
Under 30, and it was a contrast between they and the Amherst sideline. And again, though, it's maybe a little easier to come out to play football if you've won a bunch. It's a little bit easier to be a part of that team.
Yeah, exactly. I'd venture to guess that Amherst soccer team isn't going to state every year with the football team being so good.
Right. No, that's a pretty good point to make, and good way to look at it. Good way to look at it for sure. A reverse pivot there on the handoff. Advanced level type move for a quarterback.
There's just not a lot of room for Iola to work here.
No, and 44 there for Iola Scandinavia. Slow getting up. He's out of gas.
Yeah, he's had the bulk of the carries today, and he looks like he's had a long day.
Yeah, he's wound down. His parents might say he'll have no trouble sleeping tonight.
Oh, exactly.
Even after a loss, he just doesn't have any physical stamina left. Well, Iola now down to the 30-yard line. Just under 3.5 left to play. Down though, 35-12. So again, school pride, personal pride. Score a touchdown here, you get to leave maybe the field, you get to leave the championship game having scored. there can be something to be said about that. Kind of takes a little bit of the sting off of a loss.
Well, if you noticed there, Jason, but this crew is opted to have radios, which is an option for crews these days. My crew does not. But this crew I see has it. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I would think for ball spotting, chain movement, all those kind of things, that's got to be maybe a little quicker communication in that way. If there's any any communication, maybe the coach did get in your ear and he was right about a particular play that's happening on the other side of the field, to watch out for this chop block or watch out for this combo block or whatever it might be. And you could maybe just send a radio over there real quick and say, hey, here's what I'm hearing from the other side. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I on long plays, which high school football doesn't have a lot of long passing plays, but on punts, kicks and stuff like that, I think it comes into play there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, getting the ball spotted properly and getting everybody moved down. So you say you don't. What's kept you from doing the radio?
Well, I guess with only 5 guys on the crew, the back judge again at high school is usually no more than 20 yards off the line of scrimmage, unless it is a punt play. I just in our careers we just haven't had a call for a need for it. I don't know if it's something we'll probably discuss it over the off season here, but I would say maybe 10% of the crews that I know are using them.
Oh, okay.
And,
so small amount.
So small amount.
Yeah.
Very small amount. So
okay.
It's not one of those things that will ever be mandated, I don't believe. But the fact that it's an option is it's kind of neat.
So something you'll just keep in the back of your mind, maybe.
Yeah.
Just in case. Could be a new rule change or something like that might convince you to go that route.
It's an ever-changing. There's always new rules. Football's evolved a lot in the last 20 years. Like we had talked, some of the new rules and stuff designed for safety and practice habits, how preseason camps are ran, and a lot of that stuff has changed through the years.
Yeah, it's a year-round commitment now for a lot of these guys. And part of that is the want to, and part of that is being able to afford to do those things. The camps cost money, and that can be a challenge for a lot of the kids too. We talked a few days ago, I forget who I was talking to, but about specialization and that kind of thing, and some of these kids now only playing one sport. Coach Jay Anderson down in Auburndale.
Yep.
You know Jay.
Yep, had him in the playoffs.
And he talked, we did, like we're doing now, season preview for basketball. We'll interview all the local basketball coaches. We did the same thing for football. And talking to him, and he felt his best 3 players didn't come out for the team. They wanted to play basketball. And, they had a nice season. Auburndale did. Won a playoff game.
Right.
Had a real nice season, but he thought with those other 3 guys, they would have been really good. These guys had made a decision at some point in their high school career that they were basketball players only, and perhaps maybe some of those camps had a lot to do with it. Maybe I can only afford to go to one camp this year, so football or basketball, which one will it be?
If there's a lot of NFL players that have been interviewed on this subject, and pretty much the majority all believe multi-sport athletes have more success. And I do believe as we go along in time here, I do believe the kids choosing one sport when they get to that sophomore level, they're kind of forced. If you want to play AAU hoops, you need to go this direction. If you want to play club volleyball as a girl, you got to go this direction. And I think it's one of the factors that's hurt the numbers on certain sports.
Yep.
Where kids have to basically devote their whole year round training programs to being a hoops player, to maybe lifting, to being a football player, or maybe baseball and doing camps and stuff like that. So I'm not sure that's good for the athlete. the games are, this high level football like we're watching today. It's good football.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if there are kids that are not playing, like you had just said about a certain school, I'm not sure that's best for the game.
No, it's not. And I remember high school. I felt I had a commitment to my
high school?
I felt I had a commitment to my classmates, right? If I was any kind of a decent athlete at a particular sport, to join them.
Yeah.
I felt connected to them in that way, I guess you could say. So I did. And I think, and I've heard some of those same interviews from those professional athletes you're talking about that are recommending to kids to play all the sports, because I think one of the big reasons is you can apply your skills from one sport to another, right? A basketball player, you can give some of those same principles and some of those basic fundamentals to football, and vice versa, and or baseball, whatever that you can be good at one sport yet still use some of those things you're good at in these other sports.
And you take I know you followed the Stratford girls volleyball program.
Yeah.
You take that particular group of girls now. They've been very successful in softball.
Yeah.
And now their volleyball team has been to state. It'll be interesting to see how their hoops team ends up this year. And I know you follow the hoops closely.
Sure do.
When you have a group of athletes at that age group and they start having success at sports, it's nice to see them that they have success in all the sports.
Yeah, and to my knowledge, I talked a little bit to some of the people associated with the Stratford volleyball program, and they believe that all but one of those girls were going to play basketball. So that's pretty good. And the one that wasn't, she's got her reasons, and the reasons made sense to me. And she's going to play spring sports though. So sometimes it works out, and those kids depend and rely on each other to do that. So, all right, well, Division 6 just ended. St. Mary Springs comes through again, another state championship. 450 wins now
450
for Coach.
Coach Highland, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. They're going through handshakes now. We'll wait till they hold up the gold ball here, and then we'll go. Looks like one kid's got sunglasses on there. 68. I don't know what to make of that. I think he was wearing sunglasses under that. Maybe it was the.
You can't have a tinted shield. So
I don't know.
Maybe that's why.
I don't know what to say about that.
But I'm sure there's a reason.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. So I
It's related to Jim McMahon, maybe.
Well, it looked a little like that. Looked a little bit like that.
You're watching St. Mary go through there. It doesn't look like it's just it's business-like to this team. As we're watching them here, it's I'm sure I'm not saying they're not overjoyed. It's just maybe it's relief when you get to this game when you're the favorite and the whole season is weighed on you.
Yeah, maybe. I wrote an article last week about a Level 4 preview, and in there I mentioned some of the Kimberly. Their winning streak at that point was 68. Now it's 69, and I had said that their season maybe had become a bit boring and a bit mundane, and then rightly so. I wrote it as my opinion, but people in the Fox River Valley some of them didn't like the article so much, and that's fine. It's a conversation, is what it is. But I think that, and I've seen some of the Kimberly games, and I don't know that they look terribly excited. I think they just kind of come out, and some of that joy is just not there.
Yeah, I think that's human nature. You have a goal. I'm sure Fondy Springs' goals at the beginning of the year are different than, a average conference team.
Yep.
And no different than the NFL. When you have teams that perennially go to playoffs, and then the Cleveland Browns. So.
And then the Cleveland Browns, right? And if the Browns were to make the playoffs, they'd probably be jumping all over the place.
Yes, exactly.
And maybe, as you mentioned, these kids just expected this to happen. They executed on their goal.
Yeah.
It did happen. And we'll see. So, something, though, about lifting that trophy up.
Yeah.
You can't contain yourself even when that happens.
And the cool thing about it, unlike the NFL, you have the same core players as a rule. Once you get there, this group here next year will be a different group again.
Yep.
That's what's neat about high school sports. There's always a reload to the program.
Yeah, different team leaders, different captains, different positions. Okay, so trophy presentation coming up here in just a minute. Here was the touchdown right before halftime that I really thought just took all the wind out of the sails of Iowa Scandinavia. I think they thought that they were right where they wanted to be. They were up 12-7. With 2 seconds left at halftime. They're up 12-7. I think they thought they had it right where they wanted it. And touchdown happened, and then then the second half happened, and they didn't have an answer after that. And that can happen sometimes. You get that kind of that false sense of I've got it going right where I want it to go, and maybe even the coaches at halftime. We'd have to hear from them, but I've seen it before where that was a fluke score. We're going to keep doing what we're going to keep doing what we were doing, and didn't make any adjustments. So.
It's hard to come back from a late score like that if the game is, you think you can get in half only down 2, down 4, all of a sudden you're down 10. It's a different.
Yeah. That's what I said. It looked like they just had the wind taken right out of their sails, as far as that's concerned. Okay, so 3:30 now. We'll be back in about 30 minutes. Amherst and Lake Country Lutheran take the field at approximately 4 o'clock. So you'll find us back live here sometime between 4 and about 10 after 4. And I would say the most anticipated game of the day be the Amherst Falcons, and see if they can continue their streak. They would win 3 in a row. They'd win 4 of the past 5, and they'd be probably cementing their place as certainly the team of the 2010s, as far in the state, right along with Kimberly.
Yep. Division 5. Yeah.
Division 5 for sure, and then one of those teams where you mentioned Stratford and their run of championships back in the 2000s. That's Amherst to be one of those teams that you always look back and say, remember that team when they won X amount and did all these things.
Life legends in Amherst, I'd imagine. It's, can't take it away.
That's right. All right. Okay. Good. Well, we'll sign off from here, and we'll be back about a half hour. We'll see you then.